In option A, we have already found out that option A should be the right answer.
What it will get converted to? COOH, right, with strong oxidizing agent.
The dot product of PS with this will be 90 into alpha minus 60 plus 94 beta is equal to 0.
Hello there students, my name is Vikas Agarwal and I'm here to present solutions of physics section of the JMMT-03 paper. Let's begin. So that was the first question that was there in the physics section. Work done by a gas molecule and an isolated system is given by. So some expression has been given to us for work done by the gas. I'll write the expression again here. It is W is equals to alpha beta square and then e raised to power minus x square by alpha into kt. Alright, so this expression has been given to us. Now the question says that x is the displacement. We have to focus on this. X is the displacement. K is the Boltzmann constant. Okay, and K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature. All right, the dimensions of beta. So we need to find out the dimension of beta. What is important to understand here is that e raised to power anything is dimensionless. Like if I'm writing e raised to power whatever, then this entire term will itself be dimensionless. And not only this, the exponent of e also needs to be dimensionless. So this has to be a dimensionless quantity, which means that dimensions of x square, okay, will match with dimensions of alpha multiplied by dimensions of kt. All right, and kt will have the units of energy. Okay, so kt will have units of energy. So dimensions of x is L, because x is displacement, so this is L square. Okay, and kt is energy. The dimension of energy is ml square t minus 2. That's the dimension of energy. Okay, so if we got the dimensions of alpha from here and they come out to be this L square gets cancelled, so the dimension of alpha is m minus 1 and then t square. So this becomes the dimension of alpha. But we have been asked the dimension of beta. How are we going to do that? To do that, pay attention to the fact that this is dimensionless, so you can simply ignore it. This is work, so work will have dimensions of energy. So this also needs to have dimensions of energy. So what we can do from here is that it was alpha into beta square, right? Let's just check it. Yeah, alpha into beta square. So the dimensions of beta square, okay, they will match with dimensions of energy, which is ml 2t minus 2 divided by dimensions of alpha, which is m minus 1 and t square. Okay, so from here you can see that we are getting like the dimensions of beta would be, all right, whatever you get here, you have to take the square root of that. So the dimensions of beta would be m, then L, okay, and then t minus 2. All right, so the dimensions of beta would be m, L, t minus 2. And if I check the given option, option B seems to be the right one. So in this question, option B is the right one. Okay, so what is to learn here, guys? Many times we think that I think that this question was important from the point of view that this entire thing is dimensionless. You should be aware of that. And not only this, the power of E will also be dimensionless, so you should be aware of that too. Okay, now we are going to the next question, question number 27, which is the second question in the physics section. So this question asks us the relationship between the Young's modulus, the bulk modulus, and the modulus of rigidity. Okay, now guys, this is something which we can call as a fact-based question. If you don't know this relationship during the exam, like if you don't have prior knowledge of this, if you don't if you have not seen this relationship, it is unlikely that you will be able to derive these relationships in the exam, because the derivation part is something that is not covered in the 11th and 12th grade syllabus. Okay, so to do this question, you need to be aware of the relation, otherwise you can't do it. I'll tell you the relation that you need to learn. Knowing those relations, you'll be able to solve these questions. So Young's modulus, okay, Young's mod. I'm not using the symbols given here. Let me use the usual symbols that we use while studying. So Young's modulus would be 2 times the modulus of rigidity into 1 plus the Poisson's ratio. Okay, so Young's modulus would be this. Okay, and Young's modulus is equals to 2 times the modulus of rigidity into 1 plus Poisson's ratio. The other relation is that Young's modulus will be equal to 3 times the bulk modulus into 1 minus 2 times the Poisson ratio. All right, so this is the other relationship that you should know. If you know these relationships, then you can work them out. So right now we have been given the relationship between Young's modulus, which I'm denoting with Y only. K is bulk modulus here. Okay, so I'm denoting bulk modulus with B, and eta is the modulus of rigidity, which I'm again denoting with eta itself. Okay, so what we do not need here is the Poisson's ratio, so I will try to eliminate the Poisson's ratio. Okay, so let's do that. if I try to eliminate Poisson's ratio from the first equation, I can write y divided by 2 eta. I have taken 2 eta on the other side, then it will become equal to 1 plus y. I will subtract 1 from here, so it becomes Poisson's ratio. From this equation, Poisson's ratio will be, it would be y divided by 3b. I've taken this 3b on the other side, which will become equal to 1 minus 2 nu. So 1 minus this, so this becomes equals to 2 nu, so upon 2. All right. So this is the relationship that we are getting. Now we have to rearrange it, and then we have to see that after rearranging which of the relationship matches. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply this entire equation with 2. Let's do that. So when we multiply this entire equation with 2, this gets cancelled, this 2 and this 2 gets cancelled. Okay, and here we get y upon eta minus 2 is equals to we have 1 minus y by 3b. Okay, in 3 of the relationships, in 2 of the relationship we have y on the left hand side. So let me try keeping y on the left hand side, so that if a or b is one of the options, then we can directly see what is the answer. So I'll use some space here. So if I try keeping the y on the left hand side, so y is equals to, it will become 1 upon eta plus 1 upon 3b. Okay, 1 upon eta plus 1 upon 3b is equals to 3. So y I can rearrange to get 9 eta b divided by 3 times of b plus eta. So let's see if we have an option like this. So here b represents k, so 9 kb, and so a and b doesn't look correct, because here what we are getting 9 eta b we are getting in the numerator, but in the denominator we are getting a plus sign. Am I right? Yeah, we are getting a plus sign, so a and b doesn't seem to be the option. Now we can try for C or D option. So for C or D, I need to keep b on the left hand side. I'm checking b option now. So if I take it on the other side, it becomes 3by plus 3 eta y, not 3, this 3 will not be there. Okay, this 3 will not be there, plus eta y is equals to 9 eta b. Okay, and if I want to keep b on one side, then it will become b into 3b, then 3 eta minus y, okay, is equals to eta into y. Okay, so b will become eta y divided by 3 into 3 eta minus y. So now I'm checking C option. So eta y upon this becomes 9 eta minus 3y. So yes, C option does look like the correct one. So C option will be the correct one. So let's see the given answer. So C option is the given one. All right. So everyone, what are the relationships that you need to learn? These are the 2 relationships that I've written here. Please learn them, and if there is a question like this in the exam, you will get the answer. Okay. In fact, what I can recall that this is also one of the previous year questions only. Okay. So that is one thing. Now we'll go to the next question. Okay, 4 identical particles of equal mass are made to move along the circumference of a circle of radius 1 meter under the action of their own mutual. So I'll draw the situation before you. So the situation is this: there is a circle, and if 4 particles are moving, the movement need to be symmetric. So the kind of situation that we will witness, we will get a square here. Okay, we will get a square. The center of the circular orbit will be the center of the square also. Okay, so the radius is given to be 1, which means that the length of the diagonal will be equal to 2. Okay, all these lengths are 1. This is 1 meter, this is 1 meter, and this. So, and here we will have a particle m is given to be 1. Okay, m is given to be 1. So if I try to find out the net force on any one particle because of the other 3, okay, for example, this particle will experience a force because of the particle directly on the other end of the diameter. Let's call this force as F1. This m will pull this particle here. Let's call this force as F2. This particle, there will be another force. These 2 forces will be equal. So the net force on this particle will be given by F1 plus root 2 F2. Notice that the resultant of F2 and F2 will be root 2 times of F2, and it will be along the diagonal. All right, so it will directly add up in F1. Now we have to just substitute the values. So F1 will be G into 1 into 1. I've already seen the option that the options they are only in terms of G. So the mass has already been substituted. The distances has already been substituted. All right, only the value of G has been left unsubstituted. So I'm doing the same thing. So G m1 m2 divided by the distance between these two will become 2 meter. because the radius is 1, so diameter will become 2. Okay, so 2 square, so I'm writing a 4 here. Okay, then root 2, okay, root 2, and then f2 will be written as again g into m1 into m2. And then how about this distance? So if this is 1, this is 1, this angle will be 90 degrees, so this will become root 2. All right, so root 2 square will become 2. Okay, so this is the net force. I will now equate it with m into v square by r. Okay, so from here we get the value of v square, and therefore we can calculate the value of v also. So this is g by 4 plus g by root 2. Okay, and when we take root of this, that gives us the value of speed. Now we may rearrange it a bit. Okay, so let me rearrange it a bit. So if I take g by 4 as the common quantity, it has 1 plus, if I'm taking 4 as the common quantity, it will be 4 upon root 2, so that will become 2 root 2. All right, so root of this. So this option matches with the what we are getting. So option C should be the right answer to this question, as we can confirm from here. All right, so that is answer to question number 3. Okay, we'll now get to the next question. Question number 29 of the paper, which would be the 4th question of physics section. So this question says a current through a wire depends on, so I as a function of time has been given here, alpha naught is given, beta is given. We have to find the charge crossed through the cross section of the wire. So it is based on the definition of current. Okay, current is defined as dq by dt. All right, where dq represents the amount of charge flowing through a given cross section in some time. So if we want to know the total amount of charge that has crossed through a cross section, we need to integrate the current in whatever interval was given to us. Okay, so let's do that. So the answer that we are looking for would be integration of this expression. I'll directly integrate, let's save some time. So it will be alpha naught t square by 2 plus beta t cube by 3, and we can directly substitute the value of time from 0 to 15 seconds. This will give us the answer. Okay, let me do the substitution. Alpha naught is 20, so 20 by 2, it will become 10 into t square. Okay, 10 into t square, and here beta is 8. I was hoping it to be a multiple of 3, it is not. No worries. So beta is 8 by 3 into t cube. Now one of the limit is 0, so that will give us 0. 15 I'm going to substitute, so it will become 10 into 15 square, that is 225. Okay, plus 8 by 3. This t cube I'm going to write it as 15 into 225. Okay, 15 into 15 into 15. So this 3 cancels here, it becomes 5. I can take out 2250 as the common quantity, so it becomes 1 plus. From here I've taken this out, 5 and a 2 also, so it becomes 2250 into 5. So I can multiply by 10 and divide by 2. That is same as multiplying with 5. So it is 11250. So option A is the correct answer here. Okay, this is easy question. You just have to integrate this. Okay, so you got the answer. Now we'll go to the next question. Okay, this question says that in the given figure, a mass m is attached to a horizontal spring which is fixed on one side to a rigid support. So there is a spring, there is a mass. Okay, the spring constant of the spring is k. The mass oscillates on a frictionless surface with the time period t. Okay, so the time period is given to us. The amplitude is given to us. Okay, the amplitude is given to us. Now when the mass, okay, just a minute. I will enlarge it a little bit. Okay, so when the mass is in equilibrium, so guys, read this statement. When the mass is in equilibrium position, all right, so it is passing through the equilibrium position, all right, it is not at rest. When it is passing through the equilibrium position, the speed that it will have, it will be a into omega. All right, so this block of capital mass, it was, let's say, passing in a particular direction with a speed of a omega, and then what we did, we placed a mass on it, and we placed it gently. What does this gently means? It gently means that the smaller mass itself did not have any kind of momentum. We attached to it, and then the lower block just carried the upper block with itself, but that will result in a change of speed. Notice this, that this situation is almost equal to it's almost similar to an inelastic collision. So the speed will change, but even after the change of speed, what is important to note here is that the equilibrium position will remain the same, because equilibrium position depends on the in a horizontal arrangement, it is always the natural length of the spring. Okay, so the equilibrium position remains the same. So whatever speed the particle or the block or the system has here, this speed should again represent the new amplitude and the new omega. Okay, so we have been asked about the new value of amplitude. Keep in mind that omega will also change, because omega of a spring block system is given as root of k by m. M has changed now, so I'm going to make use of this. So A into omega. How much is omega? Omega is root of K by M. Okay, so this is the speed. Now I will multiply it with mass. So this is the initial momentum. Okay, now what will be the final momentum? Final momentum would be M plus M into V prime, and V prime would be A prime into omega prime. Omega prime would be K times K divided by the new mass. So when you solve this, okay, it's evident that what will happen, A prime will be equal to A times, you will get like root K will get cancelled. So it will become equal to root of M divided by M plus M. Okay, so this is what you are going to get. And I believe option C looks like the correct answer here. Okay, option C, that looks like the correct answer. Let's see whether it is or not. It is the correct answer. All right, students. So that is question number 5 of physics. Now this is question number 6. Okay, now this question says a triangle. Okay, it says a triangle plate is shown in figure 4I cap minus 3. It is applied at a point P. Okay, so the force has been applied. So guys, in this figure, the force has been shown inclined, which will confuse you. So I will not rely on this. I will rather rely on what is given here. All right. So 4I cap would mean that the force is in this direction, 4 Newton, and minus J cap would mean that it is in this direction, like 3 Newton in this direction. Okay. So I'm going to use these forces to calculate the torque. Okay. Now let's say if we want to calculate torque about O, then we will need this distance. Okay, which would be 10 sine 60. 10 sine 60 will become 5 root 3. Also notice the units that we need. Unit is Newton centimeter. So I'll keep the force in Newton. I'll keep the distances in centimeter. So I'll automatically take care of the units. Okay. The question also says that assume clockwise to be negative. Okay. So when I'm calculating torque about O, all right, this 4 Newton will produce a clockwise torque, and therefore it is negative. And how much? Force into the perpendicular distance, so this much. Okay, similarly this 3 Newton will also produce a clockwise torque. Okay, how much? Because it's clockwise, negative force into the perpendicular distance of the line of action of force. All right, so that would be 5 centimeter. Okay, that would be 5 centimeter. So we get a value of minus 15 minus 20 root 3. Okay, now see, in exam setting or in an exam, if I've calculated the torque about O and the question is asking torque about O as well as torque about Q, I will first see the options and I will try to check whether only this part, only partial solution can help me select an option or not, whether I'm required to solve the remaining question or not. So I know that torque about O has to be this. A option gives me this value, so A may be correct. B option is definitely wrong because this doesn't match with what I have already got. This also doesn't match with what I've already got, and this also doesn't match with what I have already got. So as far as the exam setting is concerned, you have already discovered the answer. The answer is option A. Okay, but just for the sake of finishing the solution, let's calculate torque about Q also. So when you calculate torque about Q, Q is this point. The 4 Newton will still produce a clockwise torque, so it will still be minus 4 into, and the perpendicular distance will again be 5 root 3 only. Okay, and but about this point, this 3 Newton will now produce an anti-clockwise torque, and therefore we are going to add it. So plus this distance, and this is actually 3, not 4. So 3 into this distance, which again is 5. Okay, so it will become 15 minus 20 root 3. All right, so in option A, we have already found out that option A should be the right answer. But this also matches with the value given in option A. So that just reconfirms that our answer is correct. Okay, so option A is the correct one here. That's question number 6 for you. Next, we go to question number 7, which is question number 32 also. So this is a mathematical question. Like, this is a very common step in mathematics that you do. The question has given you a function of time, which is I1 sine omega t plus I2 cos omega t. Now, this is a very routine thing that you see in mathematics. You know that. I hope you know that. You can convert it into I1 square plus I2 square multiplied by sine of omega t plus alpha. All right, where tan alpha, okay, tan alpha would be equal to that will become cos, this will become sine, so I2 by I1. Okay, although if you don't recall this or if you don't pay attention to this, you are still good. We have written the given form in this form, the given function in this form. So this becomes the peak value. Therefore, the RMS value would be root of I1 square plus I2 square by root 2. Now let's see which option matches. B option matches, so B will be the right option. All right, so this was a straightforward question, a very routine question, I would say. In an exam, it should take less than 90 seconds to finish this question. Okay, now we go to the next question. This again, I remember this is one of the previous question, a bit controversial here. So what the question says that a modern Grand Prix racing car of mass M is traveling on a flat surface with a radius r with a speed v. If the coefficient of static friction between the tire and the, so guys, the question says that the coefficient of static friction is so and so. Okay, and then it is asked the magnitude of the negative lift acting downward on the car is. Okay, it doesn't tell us anything. I'll tell you what we are assuming to solve the question. So what we are assuming is that we are continuously increasing the speed, all right, and when we are increasing the speed, let's say we have the option to deploy this that rear wing of the car that can actually enable the negative lift. Okay, so we have not deployed that yet, the flap that actually generates the negative lift. Let's say we have not deployed yet, so the driver is increasing the speed. As the driver is continuously increasing the speed, his chances of sliding outwards, all right, we are not considering toppling here, because to consider toppling we need the height of the car. That has not been given here. And let's just assume that the car was designed by good engineers. They ensured that even at very high speeds the car doesn't topple. But the sliding thing is something that is out of control of the engineers, because it depends on the people who are designing the track, okay, not the people who are designing the car. Okay, so the driver has increased his speed a lot, and now he is under the danger of slipping outwards, sliding outwards. Okay, so what will the driver do? If he feels that, okay, I'm losing control, my car might just slip anytime, he will try to increase the limiting friction. Okay, and how can he do that? Well, he can increase the normal force exerted by the ground. How he can increase that? By bringing some additional downward force into the picture. Apart from mg, if he increases some downward force, then the normal force will increase. That will result in an increase in the limiting value. Okay, so now the driver will deploy the flaps or the rear wing, which will start generating the negative lift, or you can say the downward lift. Okay, so as soon as that lift is generated, normal value will rise up, and therefore the limiting value will rise up, giving the driver opportunity to further increase the speed of the car. So what we are assuming here is that the car is already being driven at the maximum speed at which it can be driven even after the deployment of the flaps. Okay, so maximum speed has already been reached. So if I assume that the car is here right now, then the FBD of the car would be somewhat like this. There would be an inward force mg. Remember, this view would be the view of a person who is sitting in a helicopter and looking at the car from top. Okay, there is an inward lift, there is an outward normal force, okay, and then there is a friction force, and this friction force is responsible for for providing the centripetal acceleration. So F is equals to mv square by r, but this F is actually limiting. This is actually limiting value, so we can write it as mu s into n. And how are we going to write n? We can write n as mg plus fl. The question is now asking us the value of fl, so we just need to rearrange this. So mv square by r by mu, okay, minus mg, that should be the lift. So let's look for an option like this. B option matches with this, so B option should be the correct one. Okay, so here a lot of situational understanding was needed to do this question. Okay, so assuming that we have that, we can do this question. Now this again a very regular standard question of kinematics. A car accelerates from rest at a constant rate alpha, and for some time after which it decelerates at a constant rate beta. The total time elapsed is t seconds. The total distance traveled would be. So guys, the best way to do such question is to rely on a velocity time graph. If I try to draw a velocity time graph, what kind of graph it would be? So the speed increased at acceleration alpha, okay, and then it decreased with the deceleration beta, and this entire time is t. All right, so this entire time is given to be t. Now let's understand this. The time of acceleration can be written as, if Vmax is the maximum speed attained by the car during its journey, then Vm divided by alpha is the time of acceleration needed. Okay, similarly this time, the time of deceleration, can be very easily written as Vm by beta. Okay, so this is the time of deceleration. So we know that the total time would be Vm by alpha plus Vm by beta, and this will be equal to t. From here we get Vm as alpha beta into t upon alpha plus beta. That is the value of Vm. Now what about the displacement? The question is asking for the distance traveled. Distance traveled will be same as displacement, because the car never turned back. It never went into the reverse direction. So the distance will be same as displacement, which will be equal to the area of this graph. So half into height is Vm. So Vm is alpha beta upon alpha plus beta into t. So half into height into base is t. So this is the answer. So alpha beta t square upon C option looks like the correct answer. Okay, so we can see C option is the right answer. Is that okay, everyone? Right. Next, we'll go to question number 35. So that happens to be the 10th question of physics section. Let's see how to do this question. So the thickness at the center of a plano-convex lens is 3 millimeter and the diameter is okay. So guys, we have been given a plano-convex lens. Okay, a plano-convex lens has been given, and let's say this is the thickness T. Okay, and this is the diameter. Okay, this is the diameter D that has been given to us. Now keep in mind that this is sphere. Sorry, this plano-convex lens would have been cut from a sphere, maybe, all right, somewhat like this, and this sphere will definitely have some radius. Okay, so this is r, and this distance will become r minus t. This will become r minus t. Okay, so what is the relationship? See, this angle would be 90 degrees, so I'm going to use Pythagoras theorem here. So using Pythagoras theorem, I'm going to write r square, that is the hypotenuse square, is equals to this distance is r minus t, so r minus t square plus this is d by 2. Okay, so d by 2 square. I'll now substitute the values. I'm assuming that r is in centimeter. Okay, I'm assuming that r is in centimeter. So r square is equals to r square plus t square minus 2 times of tr plus d is given to be 6 centimeter. So 3 square is 9. Okay, this r square and this r square gets cancelled. So this r, rearranging, we will get t square plus 9 by 2t. So t is given to be 3 millimeter, but I will substitute everything in centimeter. So it will become 0.3 square. So that is 0.09 plus 9 divided by 0.6. So it ultimately becomes how much? It becomes 9.09 divided by 0.6, which can be approximated as how much? 90 by 6, around 15. Okay, it should be 15.15, something like this. Okay, so that is the radius. Now you have the radius. The question is asking for the focal length, and we also have been given that the speed of light in the material is this. So using this information, you can figure out the refractive index. Okay, so how is the refractive index defined? A refractive index is speed of light in a vacuum divided by speed of light in the media. So this will become 3 into 10 raised to power 8 divided by 2 into 10 raised to power 8. So that is 1.5. Now you have the refractive index, you have the radius of the curved surface. The other surface is plane because it's a plano-convex lens. Now you can use the lens maker's formula to find out the focal length. So I'll do it here. So 1 upon f is equals to mu minus 1. So that would be 0.5 into 1 upon r. The other radius would be infinite, so that will disappear. So the focal length will be 2r, so close to 30 centimeters. So we look for an option which is close to 30 centimeter. Okay, so option D seems to be the right one. All right, which is close to 30. So that is option D. Next we'll go to question number 36. Okay, so let's see. This question says a second pendulum has a time period of 1 second. Now guys, to decide whether this statement is right or not, you should be aware, or you need to be aware of this, that a second pendulum has a time period of 2 seconds. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. Okay, now it takes precisely 1 second to move between two extremes. Here the statement is not fully correct. In your test you would have gotten a statement which says it takes precisely 1 second to move between two extremes of two extreme positions of a second pendulum. All right, so it in the test it would be mentioned there that we are talking about a second pendulum, and that will make this statement right. So statement 1 is false, but statement 2 is true. So option A would be the right one. Okay, so to decide this question, to decide both the statements, the only fact that you needed was what is the time period of a second pendulum. Okay, so as I said, that this particular thing would be written there when you attempt this question in the test paper. Okay. All right, we'll go to the next question now, question number 37, which is the 12th question of physics. So it says an electric dipole is placed at the center of a hollow sphere. The flux of electric field through the sphere is 0, but so that is correct. When we place a dipole, the net enclosed charge is 0, so the net flux would be 0. But because of a dipole, if we talk about at any point in the surrounding of a dipole, the electric field is not 0. All right, so that is correct. Okay. Okay, so this is correct. The radius, if r radius of a solid metallic isolated sphere, so there is a sphere, it has charge q, it is isolated, that means there is no induction. Okay, so we know that this kind of an arrangement produces zero field at all points inside it. Okay, the statement says that the electric field at any point on the spherical surface of radius r, which is smaller than capital R, Okay, at any point on the spherical surface of a radius r, the radius r, the electric point of spherical surface of radius r is not 0 in the latest statement. If the surface of radius r. So guys, here the question misses a very important point. The statements written here, they don't say that the two surfaces are concentric. So nothing has been said about the position of this, this other surface. I was reading that only. The first part talks about the outer surface and the charge it carries, and then the electric field at any point on the spherical surface of radius r. Okay, r is less than r. So this would have been here, but I think for the question to make sense, it needs to be imagined inside only. Otherwise, the question becomes senseless. So it says that it is not a 0. That's wrong. That's wrong. It is 0. So statement 2 is wrong. Statement 1 is correct. So no, both statements are not false. Statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. C option would be the right answer. Okay, so C is the right answer. Okay, then given below are the two statements. One is labeled as assertion and the other as reason. Okay, when a rod lying freely is heated, no thermal stress is developed in it. That's correct. Thermal stress, we should keep this in mind that the dimensions, the size of an object is a function of its temperature. You change the temperature of the object, is its size will change. If it's a solid, you can expect a change in length, area and volume. If it's a liquid, you will expect a change in its volume. So the size, it's a function of the temperature. So every object wants to attain a specific size at a specific temperature. If you allow that to happen, then no stress develop in the object. All right. But if you constrain it anyhow, if you don't allow that substance to be at that length or to be at that size at which it should be in a given temperature, then the stresses will develop. So here no thermal stress is developed. Yeah, it was lying freely. We did not constrain it in anyhow. So it expanded. It wanted to have more length at a higher temperature. Everything was fine. No stress was developed. Okay, on heating, the length of the rod increases. Yes, that is correct. Okay, but that is not the right explanation. The right explanation would be that the stresses are developed when we don't allow the rod to attain the length that it should be at that particular temperature. So both are true, but not a correct explanation. Option D should be the right one here. Okay, option D is the right one. Next, we go to question number 39. Alpha particle and a proton are accelerated from rest by a potential difference of this much. After this, they are de Broglie. So guys, here, of course, I will write the relationship. So they are, if a charge Q gets accelerated by a potential difference delta V, then it acquires a kinetic energy which is Q delta V. All right. And when it acquires a kinetic energy, it has a momentum which is root 2mk. So this becomes the momentum. If that is the momentum, then we can calculate the de Broglie wavelength. That would be h by p. So h by root 2m into q into delta v. Now guys, if you substitute the numbers here and you do the calculation, you will get the answer. That is not the point. Like what you will say that, okay, I want to find lambda proton by lambda alpha. Okay, so when I take the ratio, the constants will have no consequence on the ratio. H will be cancelled, 2 will be cancelled. Okay, delta V is same. Delta V we have kept same, so even delta V is going to be cancelled. So it would be root of mass of proton. Let's take it as 1 AMU. Charge of proton, that is again 1. Okay, into. Then for alpha particle, the mass is the mass is 4 times 4 AMU, and the charge would be 2 times, so root 8. Okay, so that's 2 root 2. That's around 2 into 1.4, so that's 2.8. Okay, so this is how you can do. Having said that, guys, I recommend that there are certain relations that you should keep in mind. This question was asking for ratio, and therefore, the constants got cancelled, and we were saved. We were not concerned about the units and all. But there would be questions in which absolute values would be asked. So there are some formulas that I want you to remember. In this formula, we can do the substitution. Like if I'm talking about electron, I can substitute the mass of electron, I can substitute the charge of electron, I can substitute the Planck's constant, and I can find a relation between wavelength and delta V directly. All right, so I'll tell you what that relationship is. So for electron, we will get the wavelength in angstrom. If we use this formula, it would be root of 150 divided by the delta V, or you can remember root 150 would be around 12.3. So this formula here, delta V is in volts. If you're talking about proton, all right, the wavelength of proton you are going to get as 0.286 divided by root delta V. If you're talking about alpha particle, you will again get the wavelength in angstroms. The formula is 0.101 upon root delta V. So let's say if you remember this formula, then the answer is evident. The answer is visible to you because delta V is same for both. The moment you take the ratio, it's 286 divided by what? 100, 2.8. So that's the beauty. When you remember the formula, you avoid, even if you are able to get the answer in 1 minute, you can actually save that 1 minute also when you remember things. Okay, so that is the right answer here. Okay, next we'll go to question number 40. It says that the engine of a train is moving with a uniform acceleration, passes the signal post with a velocity u, last compartment the velocity with. Okay guys, so so this is a question which most of you can do by yourself. It's just a I don't think that many of you would say that this question can't be done, but yeah, I do believe that many of you will spend a lot of time in doing this question. I'll tell you that how this question can be easily done. So what we are trying to understand, or what is the situation? So this is the train. Let's say the length is L. Let's say this is where the signal post is. So this point crosses with a speed u, and then when the train is here, the last point crosses with a speed v. And now we want to know that what was the speed when the midpoint of the train was crossing the same location. Okay, so at this point, let's say the speed was Vm. Okay, let's draw a Vt diagram to understand what happened. So this is V, this is T. Okay, so if I consider, T equal to 0 as this instant when the front of the train crossed the signal post. So at that point in time, the speed of the engine was u, and it was increasing. It became V after some time, I don't know that time, let's say T0. So this time would be T0 then, when the entire train has passed. Now what I want to know that there would be a certain time, let's say T1, somewhere here. Okay, I want to know what was the speed at that time Vm. This I want to know. And this was the midpoint of the train, which means that the displacement from 0 to T1 and the displacement from T1 to T0, they needs to be equal. So this area, these two area needs to be equal. So I'm going to rely on that. Okay, I'm going to make use of it. So we want to say that this area, okay, this area is same as this area. Okay, but we don't know about anything about time. Yeah, we certainly don't know, but the acceleration has been constant. So this angle is constant. This theta is constant. Okay, this theta, like it has been a straight line. Okay, let me work with light color. So this angle is constant. So see this, if this height is Vm minus u, this height is, or maybe let's talk about this height. Okay, let's talk about this height only, this entire height. This is V minus u. Can we say that, this is smaller triangle is similar to this bigger triangle? All right. And okay, let's not worry about the triangle. Actually, I need to erase few things. I need to check my idea again. I'm not worried about the triangle. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about this length. How much is this length? This length is Vm, V minus Vm. Okay, this would become V minus Vm. Okay. Okay, now understand this. This length is how much? This length, this T1, let me change the color of the pen. This length, T1 minus T0 or only T0. This length would be Vm minus u into cot theta. In fact, if you are smart enough, you'll even not worry about whether you're writing cos theta, sin theta, tan theta. It is, this into some factor. And when you're trying to find out this distance, that would be the same factor of this length. All right, because the angle is same. Anyways, the right thing would be to write theta, because if I try to calculate cot theta or tan theta, I will write this by this, and yeah, I will get 1 by cot theta by this. So similarly, this length is how much? This length would be V minus Vm upon, into cot theta. Okay, so that's it. You know this length, this length. Okay, so the area of this trapezium would be half into sum of parallel sides, that is Vm plus u. Okay, into distance between parallel sides, that would be Vm minus u into cot theta. and this should be same as the area of the other trapezium. So the sum of parallel sides will be V plus Vm, okay, by 2, and then this distance is V minus Vm into cot theta. All right, that's it. So cot theta gets cancelled. So I said that, you know, even if you don't worry about whether it's cos theta, sin theta, it won't matter because the factor is same. Half gets cancelled. Now you see a very simple relationship we are getting, that Vm square minus u square is equals to V square minus Vm square, and from here you can calculate the value of Vm. It would be V square V plus u square by 2 and root of the entire thing. So B option would be the right answer here. All right, so you got this, everyone? B option would be the right one. Okay, next we'll go to question number 41. Let's see what this question says. It says a proton, neutron and alpha particle are moving with the same momentum in a uniform magnetic field. The ratio of the magnetic forces on them is, and their speed is in the ratio. Okay, see, notice that. Okay, let me first worry about the speed. So they have the same momentum, right? They have the same momentum. So I can write mass of proton into speed of proton is equals to, let's say, P, which is same as mass of, what is the next one? Mass of deuteron into velocity of deuteron, which is same as mass of what is it? Alpha particle into velocity of alpha particle. Now the question is asking us for the speed, the ratio of their speed. So we want to find out Vp is to Vd is to V alpha. So Vp can be written as P by Mp. Okay, Vd can be written as P by Md, and V alpha can be written as P by M alpha. P is common, so it will get cancelled. So mass of proton is 1 AMU, mass of deuteron is 2 AMU, mass of alpha is 4 AMU. All right, so we can multiply this entire thing by, let's say, 4 to get the ratio. So 4 is to 2 is to 1. Okay, so the speed ratio is 4 is to 2 is to 1. And if you notice, again, out of these 4 options, only this option is matching. So you are not required to calculate the ratio of force in the exam. You can mark the option C directly. Here, for the sake of complete solution, we will do that. Okay, so I will now find out the ratio of the force. Okay, so how do we do that? Force on a charged particle is QVB. Okay, it is given as QVB. We can actually make use of the fact, you know, they are moving in the same magnetic field. So while taking the ratio, this will not matter. And the ratio of V is already known to us. Okay, so let me directly do this. Now, force on proton would be charge of proton, which is 1. I'm writing charge in multiples of E. So 1 into velocity of proton. Okay, we can use velocity of proton as 4. You know, it would be 4 into some constant, but since we are taking the ratio, we can ignore those things. So let me write 4 directly here. Okay, I'm only interested in the ratio, so that will not matter. Okay, so 1 into 4. Then force on deuteron. So charge on deuteron, that is still 1, and the velocity was 2 times. Okay, and then force on alpha particle, the charge would be 2 and the velocity is 1. So this turns out 4 is to 2 is to 2, which is 2 is to 1 is to 1. So the force ratio is 2 is to 1 is to 1, which matches with what is given in option C. We already discovered that option C should be the right one. All right, so we are good there. Okay, so that was question number 41. We'll now go to question number 42. Okay, so this question says a wire of 1 ohm has a length of 1 meter. It is stretched till its length increased by 25%. The percentage change. Now guys, some of you might try to go for that form to use for that formula for percentage change, dl by ln. You might be tempted to use the derivatives, but don't do that because the change is enormous. 25% is quite a lot of change. So we'll go by the definitions. All right, so this is a rod of length L, area A. It has resistance, let's say R, which is 1. Okay, now what we did, we changed the length to we increased the length by 25%. That is, we increased it by L by 4. So L plus L by 4 is 5L by 4. So we made the length as L by 4. So the area will definitely reduce to give the volume same, and the new area will become 4A by 5. Notice the product should remain constant. All right. So the new resistance, how we are going to write the new resistance? The new resistance will be written as the resistivity into the new length, which is 5L by 4, divided by the new area, which is 4A by 5. Okay, so this will become rho L by A into, notice it becomes 25 by 16. This value was given to be 1. So the new resistance is 25 by 16 ohm. We have to find out the percentage change in the resistance. So delta R by R into 100. So this is 25 by 16 minus 1 divided by 1 into 100. So 25 minus 16 is 9 by 16. So this is 900 by 16. Okay, so how much is this? So this is, let's say, 4. This is 9 into 100, so 25. Okay, so 25 by 4 is 6.25. Okay, 6.25 into 9, 6, 9, 54. So in 50s we are expecting, so C option should be the right one. Okay. Okay, next question number 43, which is based on logic gates. So let's see what this logic circuit tells me. Here NAND gate has been used as a NOT gate. If you give the same input to a NAND gate, it behaves like a NOT gate. So you will get A prime here and then B here. So A prime and B, they are entering into an OR gate. So the output here would be A prime plus OR, A prime plus B, and then you pass it into a NOT gate. So complement of this will become Y. So this becomes A double prime dot Y, which is B dot B prime, which is same as A dot B prime. So using this, I first solve for the formula. Now let me make a scale here and I will try to see what kind of output I should be expecting. See, if B is 1 anywhere, B complement will become 0 and Y will become 0. So let me first check where B is 1. Okay, wherever B is 1, I'm going to get a 0. So between 1 and 2, I'm surely getting a 0. Okay, between 3 and 4 also, I'm surely getting a 0. This is because of B. Because B was 1, so B complement was 0. Okay, now wherever A was 0, again I'm going to get a 0. So A was 0 between 2 and 3. So between 2 and 3, we have not made any decision yet. But yeah, now I know that between 2 and 3, it will also be 0. Outside of 2 and 3, A is 1. So this is permanently 1 outside 2 and 3. And except these two, B is 0. So B complement will be 1. So whatever we have done, this is the only time when the Y is going to be 0. Apart from that, Y will be 1. So the graph has been depicted till 5 seconds. Okay. So option B matches with the given one. All right. So that was question number what? I guess 18. This is question number 19. So the recoil speed of a hydrogen atom after it emits a photon in going from n equal to 5. So guys, when a hydrogen atom goes from, let's say, n equal to 5 state to n equal to 1, the energy of the fifth state is 0.54 electron volt. You should learn it. If you have not learned it, you'll have to calculate it using it's actually minus 13.6 divided by 25. Okay, so if you learn it, well and good. If you don't, then you have to do the calculation. The energy of the first orbit, I think this is something that everyone knows. It is 13.6 electron volt. So the difference would be 13.06 electron volt. So this is the this is the energy of the photon. Okay, this is the energy of the photon. So can we get the wavelength of the photon? Yes. So the wavelength of the photon would be 1240 divided by 13.06. This will give us the wavelength in nanometer. Okay, so we've got the wavelength in nanometer. Now understand this. Whatever wavelength this has, corresponding to that wavelength, this photon has got some momentum, and this hydrogen atom needs to have the same momentum. In other words, de Broglie wavelength of hydrogen atom also needs to be this one. So this would be the same as the de Broglie wavelength of hydrogen atom. Okay, and we have been asked the speed. Okay, we have been asked the speed. So guys, again, if you want, you can learn a conversion formula. Hydrogen atom can be treated as a proton. All right, so see, the de Broglie wavelength of a proton would be given by h upon m, mass of proton into velocity. So let's say if we are looking to find out the velocity of proton in meter per second, in meter per second, then it would be h divided by lambda mp. Okay, h is 6.6 into 10 raised to the minus 34 mass of proton. Okay, let me do some calculations. I'll show you this. 6.6 into 10 raised to power minus 34 divided by I'm substituting whatever number, say n nanometers, so n into 10 raised to the minus 9, and then this is 1.6 into 1.67 actually into 10 raised to the power minus 27. Okay, notice this is almost, if you take this ratio, this is 3.96. This is 3.96. I'm asking you to learn it. If you learn it, you will save a lot of time. This is 3.96. So 3.96, and what happens of this? Okay, this becomes 10 raised to power minus 36. So 3.96, so that becomes 396. Okay, so 396 upon, you know, whatever the wavelength is in nanometer. So if you want to remember this as a formula, you should do that. Okay, you should do that. It will benefit you a lot, because see, the moment you got this number, if you learn this formula, okay, you can directly write the velocity of hydrogen atom, which can be treated as a proton because they have the same mass, as 396, right? That's what I said, 396 divided by lambda. Lambda is how much? It is 1240 into 13.06. So now you can finish the, so this is approximately 400. So this would be what? 3.1 kind of number approximately. Okay, so 13.6 divided by, so that's almost like, you know, 4 times would become 12.4. Okay, so a little bit more than 4. Okay. So if I make this 4 times, I'll get 12.4. If I add, you know, so this is 4 times 0.1. If I do so, 0.31 I will add. If I try to add 0.31, I probably cross it. So 4.1 something. I can't add it twice. Actually, I saw 2 options which are close to 4. Therefore, I did a bit of more calculation. You're going to get 4.17. That would be the right answer. All right, again, you want to remember this formula, your choice. You don't want to do it, your choice. But I believe that in modern physics, there are some formulas, there are conversion factors. If you remember those, then you certainly have a chance of saving a lot of time. Okay, now we'll go to the next question, which is question number 25. No, not question number 20. 20 of physics and 45 of the entire paper. So this question says a tuning fork A of unknown frequency produces 5 beats. So it produces 5 beats with 340. That means A, the frequency of A can either be 335 or it can be 345. Yeah. Okay, now when fork A is filed, so filing increases the frequency by some amount. Okay, it increases the frequency by some amount. The beat frequency decreases to 2 beats per second. Now understand this. If this minus 340 was 5 earlier, now it will become 5 plus delta. So the beat frequency will become more than 5. All right. Here, 340 minus 335 plus delta. So that will become 5 minus delta. So it now this is less than 5. So this is matching with the given information. So the frequency of the tuning fork before filing, that was 335. So 335 would be the right answer. Okay. Before filing, it was written in your paper. Like when you write the paper, you will get it written there. Okay. Next, we enter into the numerical section. So the first question says, a resonance circuit having inductance and resistance so and so oscillates at this much frequency. So the question has told us that this is the resonance circuit. So this should be the resonance frequency. Okay, this is the resonance frequency. The value of the quality factor for this resonator. Now, quality factor is the resonance frequency into L by R. All right. So you can directly use this. So resonance frequency is how much? Resonance frequency is how much? 10 raised to power 6. Okay, L is how much? Actually, this is a resonance frequency. We have to write omega here. So we need to multiply with 2 pi also. Then L is given as 2 into 10 raised to power minus 4. And resistance is given as 6.28. Now 6.28 is 2 pi. So they directly get cancelled. So the answer is 200. The answer is 200. The quality factor is 200. Oh, I missed something. It was 10 megahertz. I only paid attention to mega. So a factor of 10 will also be there. So it is 2000. All right, students, that is 2000. Okay, next. Okay, next we go to second question of the numerical section. It says an electromagnetic wave of frequency this much is traveling in a medium whose relative electric permittivity and relative magnetic permittivity are both 2. Okay, so guys, what do you have to use here? C, the velocity of light in vacuum is this epsilon naught into nu naught. Okay, the velocity of light in any other media we can write as mu into epsilon, where mu and epsilon, they are the permittivity of that particular medium, a permittivity and permeability of that medium. Now this can also be written as mu r into mu naught and then epsilon naught into epsilon r. Since both of them are 2, all right, we can substitute the value. So it will become 2 root of mu naught into epsilon naught. So this becomes C by 2. Okay, this entire thing is C. So the question is asking us velocity in this medium. So C by 2. Okay, so 3 into 10 raised to power 8 by 2. So that is 1.5 into 10 raised to power 8. Notice the power here, it is 10 raised to power 7. So this will become 15 into 10 raised to power 7. So 15 would be the answer. All right, in a hurry, don't mark 1.5 as the answer. It is 15. Okay, so 15.00, that will be the answer. Okay, next we go to, okay. Question number 48. Let's see what this question says. It says an inclined plane is bent in such a way that the vertical cross section is given by. Okay, so we have an inclined plane which is in this shape. Okay, which is in this shape, y equal to x square. Now let's understand what will happen. See, if you keep a block here, so you have kept it on an incline like this. If you keep the same block at this point, now you have kept it on an incline like this. Okay, so the higher we are moving the block, the more inclined the surface is becoming. So if we keep the block at such a point that the inclination is tan inverse of mu, all right, so that is the angle of repose. So at this point the block will begin to slide down. All right, so what we need to do is that dy by dx, that is tan theta, okay, we have to equate it to mu. So dy by dx will become 2x by 4 should be equal to 0.5. So x becomes equals to 1. If x is 1, y is 1 upon 4, that is 0.25 meters. Okay, it says both are in meter. Now the question is asking us the value of y in centimeter. So 25 would be the right answer. Getting this, everyone? 25 is the right answer to this one. Okay, next question. It says a hydraulic press can lift 100 kg when a mass of m is placed on the smaller piston. So we will say that m divided by area of smaller piston, that is the pressure. This pressure should be same as the pressure on the other side. So that would be 100 divided by area of the large piston. Okay. Now the question says that how much it can lift when the diameter of the larger piston has been made 4 times. So if you make the diameter 4 times, the area will become 16 times. All right. So let's say we are now lifting m kg. So now the piston, the larger piston has an area 16 times, and the smaller piston, the diameter of the smaller piston has been made 1 by 4 times. So the area will reduce by a factor of 16. So here we will write AS by 16. All right. And we are keeping the same mass. All right, so this is the equation. So from these equations, we need to find out the value of m. Okay, so I'll simply divide them. If I divide them, the first equation by the second equation, if I do that, I'll get a 16 here. Okay, this m, let me cancel out the things which are cancelled. This m as will cancel out. 16 will go in the numerator, and then but I'm doing 1 upon. Okay, so this 16 will actually be in the denominator. Okay, on the left hand side, it will be on the denominator. Okay, in this equation it goes in the numerator, then I done 1 by 2. So okay, and on this side AL gets cancelled, 100 will be there, m will come in the numerator, and 16 will go here. So the value of 16 would m would be 16 square into 100, so that is 25600. So this much mass we will be able to lift. Okay, you are getting the answer here. Okay, now comes the last question of physics section. It says a ball with a speed of 9 meter per second collides with another identical ball at rest. So there is a ball of mass m which is traveling with some speed, which collides with another ball. The collision doesn't the question doesn't say that it's a head-on collision. All right, after the collision, so this ball is also going at an angle of 30 degree. Okay, and this ball is also going at an angle of 30 degree. Okay, both of them are going at an angle of 30 degree with the original direction. Now understand this, guys. Let's say this has a speed v1, this has a speed v2, both have the same mass. Okay, there was no momentum in this direction earlier, in the direction perpendicular to the direction of v0, and finally there should not be any momentum. So we can write mv1 sine 30. That means this momentum's this component. All right. Similarly, this should be equal to m into v2 sine 30, which basically means that the ratio, the speeds are equal. So the ratio would be 1:1. So the value of x will also be 1. All right, students. So that brings us to the close of the discussion of this paper. I hope you enjoyed the paper, guys. I'll be back again with the discussion of next test, and see you very soon. All the best.
Hello everyone. So let us now discuss the chemistry portion of your third test, right? And the very first question in chemistry portion is very interesting question from the very important concept, that is tautomerism. I'm sure you must have done keto-enol tautomerism nicely for your JEE. So the question is based on the enol content. So let's have a look at the question number 51, the very first question of your chemistry portion, right? So you were given PQRS, 4 molecules are given to you and you are supposed to arrange them according to their enol content, right? So let's see. So I can see P and Q. So guys, P, the very first molecule has very nice intramolecular hydrogen bonding because of enol formation. So you can see here, right? There is a intramolecular hydrogen bonding here, dot dot, right? Here it is highly unstable if it remains in keto form because of the interelectronic repulsions, because lone pairs are very close on both the oxygens, so there will be repulsion. So this keto form is very less stable. When it becomes enol, there is intramolecular hydrogen bonding, so it becomes more stable in the enol form. In fact, in this molecule, the enol content is almost 100% and almost 0% is the existence of keto because of more repulsions and instability in keto form. And then we have similar kind of dicarbonyl Q, but there is no ring. So there will also be repulsion, but this single bond can rotate and the two seed O becomes opposite to each other. So there will be no such interelectronic repulsions because both the oxygen becomes far apart because of that single bond rotation, right? So this keto form is more stable. In fact, in this molecule, majorly it is existing as a keto form. Now, the next very common example, beta diketones. Of course, I'm sure you must have done it because of intramolecular hydrogen bonding in both of them, R and S. You have good amount of enol content, and if I have to compare between R and S, so there is a phenyl group benzene ring extended conjugation in enol, so definitely more enol content. So by looking at the answer, that first, the mostly it exists in enol form and Q mostly exists in keto form, right? So we can easily mark our answer. P having the highest enol content and Q having the least enol content out of all. So we'll mark our answer as B, guys. If you marked it as a B, very well done. It is a question that you should definitely know. This is the concept, keto-enol tautomerism, very important for the JEE, guys. Let's move on to the next question, question number 52. Again, very basic fundamental reaction. I'm sure that you must have done in your class 11th itself. So there is this molecule, and whenever you see anhydrous AlCl3, the Friedel-Crafts reaction altogether strikes your mind, right? So anhydrous AlCl3, which is a Lewis acid, of course, that will take up the Cl negative and make a carbocation here. So you know, as you do in Friedel-Crafts alkylation reactions, this Cl negative will be gone and we have a carbocation formation here, right? Now what will happen? This carbocation, it is electron deficient, electron loving. So it will get attracted by the electron density of the benzene ring, and this positively charged carbocation will attack on the benzene ring. Ortho to OCH3. OCH3 is ortho para-directing, electron releasing group in resonance. Meta to NO2. NO2 is electron withdrawing group and a meta director. So this carbocation electrophile will attack here in this benzene ring and the product is formed. Again, we have another ring formation here. So I hope you did the same way by making the carbocation, and you'll mark your answer as D donkey. Yes, so D donkey is the correct answer. Again, a ring formation, 6-membered ring formation because of the carbocation attack on benzene ring. Yes, so this is the answer, everyone. Now let us move on to question number 53. Which of the following compound give pink color on reaction with phthalic anhydride in concentrated H2SO4 followed by treatment with NaOH? So basically, it is a formation of phenolphthalein. Phthalic anhydride on reaction with dehydrating agent. Concentrated H2SO4 is also a dehydrating reagent with phenol. Of course, phenol and phthalic anhydride in the presence of dehydrating agent, just like concentrated H2SO4, they form phenolphthalein, right? That pink coloration, the dye formation is there, the color is there. So out of all, you have to look for phenol with the OH group, single OH group. So I can see I have two options, C and D, which can form that phenolphthalein, that reaction that we are looking for. Yes, and because the mechanism is the attack of electrophile generated by phthalic anhydride. Phthalic anhydride will generate an electrophile which attack on the ring, right? So the position has to be empty. The para attack is there, that has to be vacant, right? So let me show you the mechanism. So this is my anhydride, and because we added H2SO4, H positive will attack, resulting into the formation of this carbocation. Now this carbocation is formed from this cation is formed from phthalic anhydride. Now it will attack electrophilic aromatic substitution on phenol. The para position to OH. OH is orthopara directing. There this electrophile will attack, because OH are electron releasing, plus I'm showing groups, para position. So para has to be vacant so that your phthalic anhydride can attack there, right? Again, this will attack on the second phenol. Two phenol you will require. The two phenol molecules will be required, and the single phthalic anhydride, the carbocation generated by the single phthalic anhydride, they will attack 2 times electrophilic aromatic substitution, and finally you will get a dye which is pink in color. So of course, out of C and D, you can see the OH, the para position where the electrophilic aromatic attack is happening, that should be available. So the answer is D donkey, right? Yes, so D donkey, phenolphthalein, the formation of the synthesis of phenolphthalein by phthalic anhydride and phenol. So you should know how phenolphthalein is being formed, right? Okay guys, the next question, 54th question we have here. So you have to assertion reason type. This question is assertion, the spin only magnetic moment value of FeCN6. So ferrous, so the oxidation state of iron, we can see in the first complex is +3, right, is 1.74. That means it should have 1 unpaired electron, because magnetic moment is 1 point something. And the another complex, again where iron is in +3 oxidation state, it should have the magnetic moment of 5.92. That means 5 unpaired electron pairs should be there. So first see the difference in the ligands, right? So the ligands, if I see, Cn negative is a strong field ligand that can do pairing, whereas H2 is a weak field ligand which will not do any pairing, right guys? Yes. So we have in both iron in +3 oxidation state. So iron in +3 oxidation state will have 5 unpaired electron D5 configuration, right? So if Cn negative is there, so the pairing will happen, right? Cn negative, what it will do? It will pair the electron. The pairing will happen, only 1 unpaired electron is left behind. Whereas in case of water as a ligand, no pairing is there. No pairing of electron, is a weak field ligand. So we have 5 unpaired electron. So indeed this statement is correct. Yes. So what is the reason? What is the reason? In both complexes, F is present in +3 oxidation state. This is a true statement, but it is not the correct explanation for assertion. So what we will mark? We will mark both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation. The correct explanation should be that Cn negative is a strong field ligand which will pair up the electrons in CMA, whereas H2O being weak field ligand cannot pair the electrons, right? So this was our question number 54, and you'll mark your answer as D donkey. Next question, very important reaction is involved here. The formation of diazonium salt. So quickly you can figure out aniline when you add NaNO2HCl. So diazonium salt is being formed, and again if you see the reagents SnCl2 and HCl, Stefan's reduction, right? So diazonium salt formation in KCN we have, and then followed by Stefan's reduction. What your Stefan reduction is? The reduction to CHO, right? So we have aniline, diazonium salt formation, followed by KCN. You have cyanide group. Cyanide group will get converted to CHO by Stefan's reduction. So finally you will get your benzaldehyde. So A and B you are supposed to tell. So the answer we will mark is C. You can see the C is the correct answer here. Very basic fundamental reaction is used here. The next question, guys. Okay. The volume of 0.1 normal dibasic acid sufficient to neutralize 1 liter of base that furnishes 0.04 mole of OH negative ions in solution. So acid-base neutralization. So simply whenever we have acid-base neutralization, what we'll do? The equivalents of acid for complete neutralization, the equivalents, the number of equivalents of acid should be equal to equivalents of base, right? So normality is given, it is a dibasic acid, normality is given. The volume is required to calculate neutralize 1 mole of 1 liter of a base that furnishes 0.04. So you have Equivalence is molarity into volume, right? Equivalence is molarity into volume into valency factor, correct? Yes. So that is your equivalence of base. So what you are provided, you have 1 liter of a base, right? The liter of base, that gives you how many moles of OH negative ion? 0.04 moles of OH negative ions are there, right? So the equivalent factor of NaOH, the valency factor of NaOH is 1, right? That is 1. And about acid, normality into volume, normality into volume. Yes. So, or you can write here, rather doing this, moles into valency factor, and the base here we are talking about is giving OH negative ion. The base OH negative ion, we are directly got to know about the moles of OH negative ion, right? So I hope you can quickly figure out the volume. What should be the volume here? The moles is 0.04 and pretty easy. Not a tough calculation is involved, guys, here. Using basic law of chemical equivalence, we can solve this question, right? 0.1 into 4. Pretty basic. Equivalence of acid and normality into volume. So we could. Now the next question is incorrect. Let's see. There is an organic reaction given to us. Acid chloride, COCl, of course, AlCl3, Friedel-Crafts acylation, right? Friedel-Crafts acylation we can see is happening here, right? Okay, again we have a benzene ring here. So let me make the first molecule which is given to us. So what will happen? And hydrogen and aerosol, there is a same information here, which will again attack your benzene ring. Benzene ring will be attacked because again it is a. So the first that you will get is 1. This will be found, right? This will be found. Done. So this should be your X. So this is my X. Now on adding Na2Cr2O7 H positive heat, strongly oxidizing condition, strong oxidizing agent, heat H positive. So what will happen? You know, if there is a benzylic hydrogen, right? So we have hydrogens here. So this will get converted to, yes, what it will get converted to? COOH, right, with strong oxidizing agent. And this ketone will get also oxidized to COOH because strongly oxidizing conditions we are using here. So the Y will be, of course, this. This is the Y. This is the X indeed. Now on heat. So you have 2 carboxylic acid here. So they will lose water. They will lose water on heating and make acidic, right? So A, B, C are correct. We don't get D. So the incorrect is that Y is D. Very easy to figure out, that answer is D donkey, right? So D donkey is the answer, guys. Next question, let's correct it. So we can easily make out correct. We can save our time and mark it as a go. Let's check the other. Inverse sugar is dextrose. So inverse sugar is basically the influx of fructose and glucose, and the overall the net result in the behavior of the fructose is the fructose nature, right? So fructose is a ketone, doesn't give positive oil agent, just you all know. Start containing alpha glycoside, not beta. You must have beta glycoside. Okay? So B, C, D are wrong. The only correct statement that is A. A correct answer, guys. Though we can save our time once we get A as answer. Okay. Now the species with single unpaired electron. So we have a vanadium in all these. Let's quickly calculate the oxidation of vanadium in all these. So in the first complex BCH, the oxidation state, the charge on vanadium is +3. On second, VO +2, so +4. VO4, vanadium will have vanadium. Vanadium has configuration 4s2 3d3. This is the configuration. It has 4s2 3d5. So it is single unpaired electron. Which one will have single unpaired electron? So total 5 electrons are there which can be lost. So in D option, vanadium is in +2 oxidation. So it will have yes +2 oxidation state. So 4s electron will be out. You have 3 unpaired electrons. In this C part, the vanadium is in +5 oxidation state, right? The vanadium is in +5 oxidation state. All the electrons are lost, 0 electron left behind. In B, vanadium is in +4 oxidation state. So 2 electrons from 4s and 2 from 3d will be out, guys, right? So this will be out, and of course it will have a single unpaired electron. So you will mark your answer as, of course you get the answer, guys. So the answer indeed here is, this is the answer, B, correct? So they were asking us about the single electron present. So just a basic question where you are supposed to calculate the oxidation state. So the answer is B. Now the sixth question. Okay, so 2,4 DNP test given by carbonyl group C double bond O. Next, iodoform test, right? CH3 C double bond O gives iodoform test, azodide test. Okay, let's see which will give the following test. So they are giving DNP test, they are giving iodoform test, but they are not giving azodide test. So there has to be carbonyl group, there has to be a COCH3, right? COCH3, there should be a COCH3. Yes, COCH3 should be there, correct? And no azodide test. So guys, what? Let's have a look at all the options. So COCH3, I can see in all these 1, 2, 3 options, I can see there is only one option has COCH3, which can give iodoform test here. But we do have C option here. Which one oxidation can give? Okay. So I hope you can figure out your answer as B. Right? So this molecule can give DNP test because there is C double bond. Oh, this molecule can give positive iodoform test because there is COCH3 group present, but it will not give azodide test. Yes? This will not give azodide test, though nitrogen is there, amine is there, substituted amine, but because there is COCH3 electron, the drawing group is present, so it will not give. So you will mark your answer really quickly. I'm sure the answer to this question is B, right? Which is not aromatic. Huckel's rule, simply you are supposed to see Huckel rule, 4 pi electron. Quickly, because there is a positive charge, 4 pi electron, planar, resonance, but 4 pi electron. So what it is anti-aromatic. Let's check Varro's aromatic. This is also aromatic. This is also aromatic. So first 4 pi electrons are there. So it is anti-aromatic, not aromatic. So we'll mark our answer quickly as A. Very easy question. Next, the correct order of electron gain enthalpy. So if you have studied periodic classification of elements, I am sure you must have done the exceptional cases, and in the NCERT itself the data is given, the table is given regarding the electron gain enthalpies of group 16, 17, right? So oxygen being small in size, adding an extra electron can lead to interelectronic repulsion and your oxygen can become less stable, right? Usually as we move down the group, the electron gain enthalpy, the electron affinities, the tendency to add electron decreases, but in case of fluorine, in case of sulfur, though even the first elements of P block, because of their small size, being extra electron can lead to interelectronic repulsion. So the oxygen, the electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is very less and even less than all the elements of the group, right? So it is in the end. Because of small size, adding electron will lead to interelectronic repulsions. Very important exceptional case, everyone. And you should know all these expression games really well, guys. Done? Yes. Okay. Let's see the next question now. The group having trigonal planar structure. Which group is having the trigonal planar structure? So let's see BF3, trigonal planar. NF3 is pyramidal. So we reject the first part. Carbonate again, sp2 hybridization it is, trigonal planar. NO3 also trigonal planar, the same. SO3 is also trigonal planar. sp2 hybridize all of them. So of course we got our answer. Ammonia pyramidal again. NCl3, yes, again pyramidal. NCl3 pyramidal. So all the options should be sp2 and trigonal planar. Right? The answer for this question based on DSCP theory is indeed. I am sure you got the answer correct, guys. Very basic question. The answer is B. Now the next question. In which of the following process the bond order increases and the paramagnetic character changes to diamagnetic? Molecular orbital theory, and we usually use the shortcut to figure out such questions. I'm sure you are pretty aware of that shortcut H220 wala. H220 the electron लिखो and 0 से start करते हुए 0.5 का increase करते हुए. So NO shows electron 50, nitrogen 7, oxygen 8. So the bond order of NO will come out to be 2.5. As for that shortcut, use shortcut, very easy, time savior. So NO, bond order, that is 2.5. When one electron is lost, it becomes NO positive 14 electron, and the bond order of 14 electron is 3. Right? It was having odd number of electrons, 15 electrons, so this is paramagnetic, and it has total even number of electrons, it is diamagnetic. So very good, time savior again because we got our answer as A. You can check in others if you want, but to save your time in paper at least once you get the correct answer, and if you are confident enough that is the correct answer, quickly mark and go ahead, right? Yes. Let's check the next question. The correct order of acidic character of the following compounds. So you have following compounds. One of the favorite most question of JEE, especially JEE means acidic and basic strength order. So you have carboxylic acid, you can see you have phenol also, and I am pretty sure that you know carboxylic acid is stronger acid than alcohol or phenol because of more resonance, more equal structures in carboxylic ion, right? So indeed the one with carboxylic acid they are more acidic because after losing its positive they become more stable ion as compared to oxide ion. So we have one in the end. NO2, electron withdrawing group. Electron withdrawing group increases acidic strength. CH3 plus I effect. Electron releasing group decreases acidic strength. So the most acidic is 2, followed by 3, and then 4, and then 1. Electron withdrawing group, NO2 electron withdrawing group, minus M, minus I. CH3, no resonance, only inductive CH3, right? So I am sure you got the sequence, and you must be very prone doing the question answers. Next question, the correct order of bond dissociation energy. Halogens are given, and you should definitely know this order. Halogens are given. Weaker is the bond. Weaker is the bond. Easily you can break it. So lesser is the bond dissociation energy. Or you can say smaller is the size of atom, more close they are, more stronger bond, and hence more dissociation energy. More energy is required to break that bond. So ideally speaking, down the group, the dissociation energy should decrease because of increasing atomic size and the bond length becomes smooth. But here, fluorine is there. Fluorine has so many lone pairs around it. Small size is creating a lot of problem to fluorine, right? That is why it is very reactive also. So fluorine, small fluorine atoms, so many electron pair, inter-electronic repulsion, they are ready to get break. So that is why highly exothermic reactions shown by fluorine. Right? So fluorine, the bond dissociation energy is less as expected because of inter-electronic repulsion. It is unstable. The bond wants to get broken. So the answer to this question, what should be the answer then? Fluorine is less A. What is guys? So chlorine, bromine, chlorine is misplaced in the order just because of more inter-electronic repulsions in fluorine due to limited. Okay, now the 67th question. Interesting question. The entropy change associated with the conversion of 1 kg of ice. You have 1 kg of ice at 273 Kelvin. You have to convert that into water vapor, right, at 383 Kelvin. And They're asking you the overall delta S, the entropy change. So what is happening actually? You have H2O solid at 273 Kelvin, that is ice, right? So you have ice at 273 Kelvin. Now you will change the phase and make it liquid, right? Fusion is there, same temperature. So here the entropy change for this first process is delta S1. Enthalpy of fusion, because you're changing the state, temperature remains same, 270, right? Now 273 to 373, the temperature is changing and the phase remains same. So you make liquid from 273 to 373. Now the entropy change is given by this formula. Same phase at constant temperature, Cp ln T2 by T1, right? So the second step, entropy of this step can be calculated by using this formula. Now again, liquid to gas phase transition, again you will use the formula delta S is equal to delta H of vaporization, because liquid to vapor by Tt is 373 Kelvin. This is delta S3. Now again, because you want finally the vapors at 383 Kelvin, right? You have vapors at 373 Kelvin. Why 373? Of course, 100 degrees Celsius, the boiling point of water. So solid to liquid and then liquid to gas, and gas should be at 383. So the temperature is different, phase is same. So again you use this formula delta S Cp ln delta T. 3, this is 4. So overall entropy change in this process is the sum of S1, S2, S3 and S4. So S1 and S3 you can use enthalpy of formation, that is given to you. So the heat of fusion value is given to you, the heat of vaporization value is given to you, the temperature here is 273, the temperature here is 373, you can use, and then you are also given specific heat of water, liquid and water vapor. So Cp values are also given, T2, T1 are also given. So here T1 is 273, T2 is 373. Here when you use the same formula, Cp ln T2, you will use T2 as 383 and T1 as 373. So all the values are given, just put the values and calculate delta S for each step, just add them up and you'll get the final overall entropy change in the process. Very interesting question. Maza aa gaya, badhiya, very interesting, right? So I am sure if you do it correctly without you doing any calculation mistake, the answer that you'll get is D donk. You can check here calculation mistake. If you commit any calculation mistake, you can just verify and see where you got it wrong. So I've told you the concept how you can do this, approach this question, right? Yes. So answer you will mark is D donkey. Now the next question, pretty easy I will say. So we are having two reversible reactions. The first, A2 plus B2 gives 2AB, the equilibrium constant is K1. And we have a second reaction in which 6AB gives 3A2 plus 3B2 and the equilibrium constant for that is K2. Now you are supposed to tell the relation between K1 and K2. So let's see how we can make the second reaction from first. First reaction we are supposed to reverse because we have AB reactant side in second reaction. So when I reverse, so the equilibrium constant becomes reciprocal. So it was K1, so it becomes 1 by K1. Now the coefficients here are 6AB, but here I have 2AB. So I have to multiply by reversing, after reversing this first equation, I have to multiply by 3. So when I multiply it by 3, whatever number I multiply, it will become power. So this is my K2. The reciprocal of first and raised to power 3 because we are supposed to multiply it by 3. So K2 is K1 raised to power minus 3. I am sure most of you gave the right answer. The answer is C. Yes, C should be the correct answer. Let's move on to the next question, 69. Complete combustion of 1.80 grams of an oxygen containing compound. So you have a compound in which there is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, right? And the amount of that compound is, so total is 1.8. So you have carbon, you have hydrogen, you have oxygen. So 2.64 grams of CO2. So the moles of CO2, whatever CO2 it will give, the moles of CO2 is equal to the moles of carbon. 1 mole of carbon is equal to 1 mole of CO2. So moles of CO2 in this compound is 2.64 gram divided by 44. These many moles of CO2, that is equal to moles of carbon. These many moles of carbon, right? 1 mole of CO2 and mass of carbon will be mass of carbon. The compound should be the moles into atomic mass. This is the mass of carbon. Similarly, moles of H2O is given to you. Given mass divided by atomic. This is the moles of 1 mole of H2O has 2 moles of hydrogen atom. So whatever moles of H2O you get, that is the moles of hydrogen is double than that, right? So that implies, so moles of hydrogen is 2 times the moles of H2O, right? So you can calculate the mass of hydrogen, of course, multiplying by atomic mass, that is 1. So now you know in 1.8 gram, how much gram is the carbon, how much gram is the hydrogen. So rest is oxygen. So 1.5 minus this and this will give you the mass of oxygen, right? And you are supposed to calculate the percentage. Once you get the mass of oxygen in the compound, so how can you calculate the mass percentage? The mass percentage of oxygen is the mass of oxygen divided by the total mass of the compound, that is 1.8. So pretty easy question based on stoichiometry. Calculate the mass of carbon, calculate the mass of hydrogen. Total mass of the compound containing 3 elements is 1.8. So I'm sure by subtracting the mass of carbon and hydrogen, you get the mass of oxygen. And hence you can calculate the mass percentage, right? Yes. So stoichiometry, D donkey. So you get 0.96 grams of oxygen. So mass percentage of oxygen is 0.96. The mass of oxygen divided by 1.8 into 100. That comes out to be 53.33. Now, the plots of radial distribution function for various orbitals of hydrogen atom against R are given. So the radial distribution functions are given. Let's have a look at the graphs. These are the graphs, okay? The correct plot for 3s. We have to figure out the correct plot for 3s. 3s. The number of radial nodes. How can we calculate the number of radial nodes? The formula is n minus L minus 1, right? And we have 3s orbital. So third shell for s subshell, the L is 0. So 2 radial nodes. So we have to figure out the graph having 2 radial nodes. So let's check. Oh, it is having 0 radial node. There are 2 radial nodes. This is a nucleus, natural node. These are 2 radial nodes, so we will mark answer as D. So 2 nodes where the probability of finding the electron is minimum, 0 almost. So we'll mark our answer as D donkey, right? 2 radial nodes, very simple. Okay, now we have a reaction, numeric equations. Okay, let's figure out the numeric equations. The reaction of sulfur in alkaline medium is given by this, okay? So you can see this is a disproportionation reaction happening in alkaline medium. Just balance it the way you balance in alkaline medium. Let me start. So just OH negative. So the oxidation state of 0, 0. I have written S8 because it is disproportionating twice for balancing. -2 and +2. Sulfur oxidation. So 0 to -2. Reduction. 2 electron. 0 to +2. Oxidation. 2 electron. Right? Now here we have S8. 8. So I have to multiply it by 8 and the total electron count in reduction is 16. 8 into 2, that is 16 electron. 16 electron gain. Here sulfur 8, so let me make it 8 sulfur atoms here also. So again 16. One sulfur atom is gaining or losing 2 electron and gaining 2 electron, right? Done? Yes? Yo. Okay. Oh, let me see. The oxidation state here is 2x, 3 into -2 plus. This is -6. Here it will become +6 and it is. We have 2 sulfur atom. It is -3. It is +6. This is 2. Sorry. So 1 sulfur atom is in. Yeah, 2, perfect. 2 oxidation state, right? Third sulfate it is yes, right? So I hope now you can do. You have to equate the number of sulfur atoms, the oxygen atoms, and of course hydrogen in the end. Yes, guys. So the usual method, the way you balance in alkaline medium, that is how you are supposed to calculate. Done? Yes. So sulfur atom 8, 16 here, 8, 16 here. Oxygen is not balanced. To balance oxygen, we use the medium, right? So the medium we are supposed to use. How we do? First we balance the what we balance? First we balance the oxygen atom by adding whichever side is deficient in oxygen atom, we add that many water molecules. So we have 14 oxygen atoms here. Can you 4 into 3, so 12 oxygen atoms here. So we'll add 12 water molecule here. Right? I don't know which way you are opting to balance the reaction. You can do it by your own way, be it half reaction method or the oxidation number method. So whatever way you are doing, you can do it. You are just supposed to balance this reaction or disproportionation reaction in alkaline medium. So usually what I do is, here we have 12 oxygen atom. Here we have 0. So I'll add 12 oxygen atoms here, right? And then whatever is the deficiency, I will add the same number of water molecules. That deficiency side in hydrogen, I'll add the same number of water molecule to that side, and then equal number of OH negative to the opposite side. And finally, the equation gets balanced in terms of charge, electron gain loss, or the number of atoms. So you can approach this reaction any which way you are doing the balancing. Whatever way you are adopting for balancing the redox reaction in acidic or basic medium, please follow that. It is simple reaction, just a disproportionation reaction. I'm pretty sure you must have done similar kind of reaction, the disproportionation of P4, chlorine in basic alkaline medium. So just balance the reaction, and you are just supposed to tell the stoichiometric coefficient of OH negative, that is A, right? So your answer will be 12. So please check. Please check. Right? So finally, just make sure whenever you get the final reaction, just make it neat, cancelling if there is water on the both side, and if you can take out the common number from both sides. So just do that, saaf safai, the neat and cleanness of the reaction at the end. And then finally you should write the coefficient, right? That you should take care. So the answer is 12. Now there is a reaction given to us, the quantity of electricity required in Faradays, okay, to reduce 5 moles of MnO4 negative. Very simple. No need to use calculator. So reaction is given. 1 mole of MnO4 is reduced by 5 moles of electrons. So 5 moles of MnO4 negative will be reduced by 25 moles of electron. Right? So to reduce the 5 moles of MnO4 negative, we need 25 moles of electron as per the equation. And 25 moles of electron. The charge on 1 mole of electron is 1 Faraday. 1 Faraday is the charge on 1 mole electrons. So we got our answer. 25 moles of electron means we need 25 Faradays of charge. So answer is 25. Very easy. Without picking up pen, you can quickly solve. The next, the pH ammonium phosphate solution. You have to tell the pH of ammonium phosphate solution, pK of phosphoric acid, and pKb of ammonium hydroxide is given. So the salt which we are supposed to calculate the pH is a salt of weak acid and a weak base. So apply the equation for weak and weak salt hydrolysis equation. So for the salt of weak acid and a weak base, how you can calculate these equations, guys, you should know. Just put the value of pKa and pKb. So it is a salt of weak acid and a weak base, right? Both are weak. You know pKa, you know pKb, put the values. They have given you pK, pKb. Nothing you are supposed to do. Just need to remember this hydrolysis equation. Put the values. The answer will be right away there, right? So you get your answer as 7. Not much calculation, nothing. Very easy. So you are supposed to round it off to the nearest integer. Next question. Out of these, Na2SO3, NaCl, right? So NaCl, Na2C2, O4, Na2HPO4, Na2CrO3, NaNO2, CH3CO2, NaNi, Na3PO4. You are supposed to tell if you add AgNO3 in them separately, so which will give white precipitate. So it is basically a you can say qualitative analysis question. You should know which will give white precipitate. Everyone should be aware. AgCl, NaCl, if we add AgNO3, we get AgCl, the white precipitates. But other than that, which will give you the white precipitates, guys? Quickly let me know the answer. If you can figure out Please let me know quickly. And what are the color, if you can tell what are the color of other complexes also, right? Yes, the color of other complexes also. Yes, quickly. Yes. Yes. So we have silver sulfide, which is white in color, AgCl white in color, oxalate, Ag oxalate, right? And this is yellowish green sort of, this is brown precipitate, chromate, Ag chromate, NO2, Ag, NO2 white. I will get the acetate, silver acetate, again white, AgI, yellow precipitates, and phosphate. Yes, phosphate is also a yellowish kind of precipitate. So how many of them will form white precipitates on adding? Right, on adding. So it is Ag to the first one, 1, 2, 3, this will also form 4, 5. 5 will be the total count. The color of the rest of the precipitates also I have written, so that if something other is asked, you can, right? Sulfide, Na2SO3. Ag2SO3, right? So this is white, Ag2SO3, AgCl, Ag2C2O4 oxalate. This all are white in color, right? White precipitates. You can check and remember for future if some question will come up. Okay, let's move on to the last. Rate constant of a reaction increased by 5 times on increase in temperature from 27 degrees Celsius to 52 degrees Celsius. Clearly equation on Arrhenius equation. They are talking about rate constant. So they have given us K2 by K1. The rate increased 5 times. So they have already given that ratio is 5. So this is the Arrhenius equation that we are going to use. I hope you all know Arrhenius equation, how the temperature affects the rate constant of a reaction. So log of 5, because K2 by K1 is 5. Okay. Guys, make sure that you put these values in Kelvin. So put these values in and substitute Arrhenius equation. Yes, so you will get your answer quickly. So 300 Kelvin. Yes, so it is 300 Kelvin. That is the temperature T1, right? 27 degrees Celsius. It is 300 Kelvin. The next is 52 degrees. The temperature is increased to 52 degrees Celsius. So 52 degrees Celsius, guys. Again, you are supposed to convert it into Kelvin. 273 plus 52. Yes, 320. Yes, guys. This is what you are expected. Everything is there. Just calculate EA. And I'm sure you will not commit any kind of calculation mistake. Done? Yes. So what you'll get your answer as? What is the answer that you'll get? The answer you will get is 52.27 into 10 to the 3 joules, and you have to write it in kilojoules. So approximately that is 52 kilojoules. So make sure that you do the calculation nicely. Very direct question, Arrhenius equation. Everything is given to you. You are just supposed to put the values and get your answer, right? Yes, and I'm sure you must know that log 5 is 0.7. That is also you're required to put here. And I guess that is not given in the question. No, right? So that's all for your chemistry portion. I'm sure this paper helps you to check your fundamental, the basics, how much prepared you are in which topic, and which topic needs to be more work to be done on which topic, and which is your weakest or the strongest part. So the mock test, the test solve that purpose. They will let you know where you need to put more pressure, the more work is to be done on which topics and the concepts. So that is the whole point, the philosophy of giving the mock test. And trust me guys, more number of mock tests you will give, better performance you will have in the final exam. So just keep giving the mock test and keep analyzing. That is the most important part. Keep analyzing after giving the test what you could do or what you could not do, so that if the similar question comes up in the next test you are able to crack it correctly, right? Till then, bye, take care, see you in another session.
Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Surendra Jain, Master Teacher of Maths in Vedantu. I'm discussing JMMT-03 and this is question number 1 from complex number. In this, we are asked the area of a triangle whose vertices are given by z, iota z and z plus iota z. Please see, if you are having z somewhere here, then iota z should be something like, which is at 90 degree to this z. But same magnitude, because you are just multiplying by iota, so magnitude or distance from origin will not change. This is A here, this is B here, and C, if you look at, it is actually sum of z and iota z. So it is basically, if you compare, if you complete one parallelogram here like this, then C has to be the resultant, or you can say the diagonal or the vertex given by the diagonal of this parallelogram. So C will be here, and we are looking for the area of this triangle ABC. C is z plus iota z. You can see this OA length, OB length are equal, and this is 90 degrees. So this parallelogram has to be a square, and we are looking for the half area of this square, and the square has side length as mod z. So required area will be equal to just half of mod z square. So answer for this question should be C. Okay. Now moving to the next question, that is question number 2. We have to find the value of this expression, trigonometric expression. Now please see, first bracket, if I solve it, we can write it as 4 into 1 minus sine square 9 minus 1. Okay, and this will be equal to 4 minus 1, that is 3, minus 4 sine square 9 degree. If I multiply by sine 9 degree in numerator, and in the denominator, this becomes 3 sine 9 degree minus 4 sine cube 9 degree. This is actually a formula of sine 3 theta. So we can write it as sine 27 degree here upon sine 9 degree. Now likewise, we can write this bracket also as sine of 81 degree upon sine 27 degree. This bracket also we can write it as sine of 243 degree upon sine of 81 degree. Similarly, this we can write it as sine of 729 degree upon sine of 243 degree. Now these things are multiplied, and also this 36 is there. Okay, so we can write 36 also here. That is my question from here. So you can see this 27, 81 and this sine 270, they are getting cancelled. In fact, sine 729 is also 720 plus 9. So it is nothing but sine 9 degree. So these two will also get cancelled. We are having just 36 as the answer, which is given in option number B. So answer for this question is B. In question number 3, we are given 3 points ABC as the midpoint of side of a triangle. Okay, now these A here, let us say that is 0, 1, B let us say here that is 1, 1, B here let us say 1, 1, and C is 1, 0 here let us say. Okay, now you can take vertex as P, Q, R, maybe as x1, y1, x2, y2, x3, y3, and using midpoint formula there will be 3 equations, and if you solve them you will be able to get the coordinates of P, Q, R. That is one method. I'll tell you one more method. Please see, this A joining B is such that y coordinates are same. Both are having 1, 1. If y coordinates are same, that means this line has to be parallel to x-axis. So if this is parallel to x-axis, from midpoint theorem, P, this RQ side should also be parallel to x-axis. So if this is parallel to x-axis, Q as well as R, they both will have y coordinates to be same as that of C. So 0 will be the y coordinate of both R and Q. Similarly, if we join C with B, here you can see x coordinates are same. If x coordinates are same, that means it will be parallel to y-axis. So this side PQ will also be parallel to y-axis. So they should have same x coordinate as that of A. So P will have x coordinate to be 0 and Q will also have x coordinate to be 0. Now we can find the y coordinate of P using midpoint formula. So it will be 2 here, and similarly x coordinate of R from midpoint formula, that will be 2 here. So we can see the coordinate of PQR are like, one is at 0, 0, that is origin, Q here, and one is at x axis and one is at y axis. So at x axis it was R, 2, 0, and this is P, which is 0, 2. Now we are asked to find the radius or center of in circle lying in this right isosceles triangle actually. Okay, if this circle is touching both x-axis and y-axis, we can take its center to be r comma r, where r is the radius. Okay, r is the radius. And here this point, because it's a right isosceles triangle, if I join this, if I join this r comma r with this, I think that will be perpendicular to this side because of symmetry. Without symmetry also you can do it, but because it's a symmetry here, so we will use it, and this point will be midpoint of PR, that is 1 comma 1. Okay, here you can see the distance between 1 comma 1 to r comma r will be 1 minus r square plus 1 minus r square once again, and that will be equal to radius square. So if I take under root both sides, we get root 2 1 minus r is equal to r. And remember, r has to be less than 1. So that's why when I'm taking under root, I have taken 1 minus r as its square root. If r would have been greater than 1, we should have written r minus 1. But here r is less than 1 from the diagram. So I'm writing like this. Now my r is coming out to be root 2 in the numerator upon, I think, 1 plus root 2. We can rationalize it. We will be getting 1 here, and it will be root 2 into root 2 minus 1 here. This is actually 2 minus root 2. That is the coordinate, that is the value of r actually. So that is the coordinate of in center, and here they are saying in center as d. Now they are saying this parabola is passing through d, whose coordinate is r comma r. So I'll put r comma r here. So we will be getting r square is equal to 4ar. 1 r will get cancelled. So the value of a will be equal to r upon 4. R is 2 minus root 2. So that is 1 by 2 minus root 2 upon 4. Okay. Now you know, for such parabola, focus lies on a comma 0. Focus lies on a comma 0. Now they are saying focus is alpha plus beta root 2 comma 0. Focus of parabola is this. So comparing this thing, we can say that alpha will be equal to 1 upon 2 and beta will be equal to minus 1 upon 2. Now we can put these values of alpha beta here. So alpha upon beta square will be equal to 8. Okay. So answer for this question will be A. Okay. Bit tricky question because too many informations are given in this question. So calculation is there, I think. Answer is 8. Coming to the next question, number 4. Here we are given one quadratic whose roots are alpha beta, and here there is one more quadratic in the limit expression which is actually having coefficients just order reversed of the coefficient of this given quadratic, which means, please understand, if this quadratic is having root alpha beta, then if I reverse the order, I bring 1 as the leading term, it is x square, then b on the second position, so it will remain with x only, plus a. This kind of quadratic will have roots to be actually 1 upon alpha and 1 upon beta. You can do this thing with the help of sum of roots, product of roots also, or by transformation of quadratic or transformation of equations also. So whenever all the roots are reversed or taken reciprocal of themselves, then new polynomial equation will be just by reversing the order of the coefficients. The leading coefficient will go to constant term and second leading will go to the coefficient of x, like that. So here this quadratic which they have used in this limit, this is actually having roots to be 1 upon alpha, 1 upon beta. So this is actually, you can see, 0 upon 0 form, because as x approaches to 1 upon alpha, this quadratic will become 0 and 1 minus cos 0 will be 0 upon 0. So that's 0 upon 0 form. Now what I'll do, I'll use one result, 1 minus cos x upon x square, limit x approaches to 0. This result, you must remember, is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, I'll be using this thing here. Now please see how I'm going to do it. Limit x approaches to 1 upon alpha, 1 minus cos q. I'm writing this quadratic as q here, upon q square here, into q square. Instead of q square, I will write the expression now, which is x square plus bx plus a whole square upon 2 times 1 minus alpha x square, and this whole thing as power 1 upon 2 here. Okay. Now this will be equal to 1 by 2 as I have shown you, because as x approaches to 1 by alpha, this q tends to 0, so that will be half here. Limit x approaches to half, x approaches to 1 upon alpha, this is 1 upon 2 here. This quadratic expression, I will use factor theorem to write it as x minus 1 upon alpha into x minus 1 upon beta whole square. So there will be square on both the brackets, and in the denominator it is 2 into, and if I bring alpha square outside, it will be 1 upon alpha minus x whole square. That power 1 upon 2 here. Now you can see these two brackets will cancel each other because x is approaching to 1 upon alpha. So they are not 0, but they are equal, so they will cancel each other. Now power 1 by 2, here it is 1 upon 4 alpha square. So we will get 1 upon 2 alpha here, and we can put x as 1 upon alpha here, but then there will be mod sign because under root of anything square is always mod of that thing. Here alpha is bigger than beta, so 1 upon alpha will be smaller than 1 upon beta. So mod of this thing will be 1 upon 2 alpha, 1 upon beta minus 1 upon alpha. So if you compare these two expressions, so answer of this becomes equal to B. Okay, now moving to the next question, that is question number 5. Here we are given probability distribution of some random variable x given by this formula k times x plus 1 into 3 power minus x. X is taking values 0, 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Okay, and then we are asked some probability. Now please see, if I add all possible probabilities for x is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 up to infinity, the sum of all such probabilities should become equal to 1. What I am saying, summation probability of x is equal to small x, where small x is varying from 0 to infinity, has to be equal to 1. Now if I keep putting x is equal to 0 here, I think my first probability is coming out to be k. Then next would be k upon 3, because when you put x is equal to 1, x is equal to 1, so it will be 1 plus 1, 2. Sorry, it will be 2k upon 3. It will be 2k upon 3. For 0 it was, I think, yeah, that was right. And then if you put x as 2, then it will be 3k upon 3 square, and then 4k upon 3 cube, and so on. The sum of this series up to infinity should be equal to 1. As I told you, sum of all possible probabilities. Now, this is actually AGP. You can see 1 upon 3 is multiplied, and also this k becomes 2k, then 3k, 4k in the numerator. So it's a AGP. Now to solve such AGP, what we do, we multiply the entire thing by the common ratio on both sides. So what I'll do, I'll multiply by 1 by 3 on right side and on the left side also. But on the left hand side, I will shift the term towards right by 1 actually. So the k multiplied by 1 upon 3 becomes k upon 3, then shift towards right. So it will be k by 3. Similarly, it will be 2k upon 3 square, then 3k upon 3 cube, and so on up to infinity. If you take the difference, you will get k plus k upon 3 plus k upon 3 square, and so on up to infinity, and that will be equal to 2 by 3. If you take the summation here, it will be k into 1 upon 1 minus 1 upon 3, and that is equal to 2 by 3. Okay, from this you get k to be equal to 4 upon 9. Okay, so we have got k is equal to 4 upon 9. They are asking the probability of x to be greater than or equal to 2, which means 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. So what I will do, I will find the probability, maybe small p you will say, corresponding to x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. Corresponding to x is equal to 0, it is k. Corresponding to x is equal to 1, it is 2k plus 3. Take LCM, it becomes 3 plus 2, 5 upon 3 into k, where k is 4 by 9. It becomes 20 upon 27. So my required probability, which is for x greater than or equal to 2, has to be equal to 1 minus this thing, because it is just two possibilities, one for x is equal to 0, one for x is equal to 1, and whereas we are looking for all other possibilities in this probability, so 1 minus 20 upon 27. So answer here will become equal to 7 upon 27, which is given here in A option. Okay, moving to the next question, that is question number 6. Number of ways of choosing 10 objects out of 31 objects, out of which 10 are identical and 21 are distinct. Okay, so let us make a box of 10 identical objects, and let us make one more box of 21 distinct objects, and we have to choose 10 objects. Now my options are that I can take all the 10 identical objects. In that case, I have to choose 0 objects from this distinct object. But if I take 9 from this, then I have to take 1 from this. If I have to take 8 from this, I have to take 2 from this, and so on. If I take 0 from this, I think I have to take 10 from this. Now, whenever I am selecting identical objects from this box, I think there is just one way, because all are identical. There is no difference which object you are going to choose. But whenever you are choosing some objects from distinct, then there will be a formula of NCR. For first case, when 10 objects are taken, so that will be one way for this, but 21C0 for distinct objects. Although it is 1 here, but I think 21C0 will make sense later. Okay. Similarly, for 9 identical objects, number of ways is 1 only, but for one distinct object, it will be 21C1. Similarly, 1 into 21C2 and so on, and similarly 21C10. Okay, now this series, if you see, it is actually half the terms of 21C0 up to 21C21. 21C0, 21C1 and so on, they are total 22 terms, out of which we are having just 11 terms. And the remaining 11 terms will be same as if these terms. How? Because if I write next term, that is 21C11, it is same as 21C11, it is same as 21C10. Similarly, the other terms. On the other hand, if I write, it will be 21C20 plus 21C21. So these extra terms which I have added here, they are actually same as the terms we are looking for. So what we can do, we can multiply by half to the entire thing here. Okay, now this sum of all the binomial coefficient will be equal to 2 raised to the power 21 and divided by 2. So the answer will be 2 raised to the power 20 for this question. Okay, so A is the answer here. Yeah. Now coming to the next question, number 7. Here we are given a determinant and we have to find the number of distinct real roots. Okay, now here you can see, if I add all the terms of the column, then it will become sine plus 2 cos, sine plus 2 cos, sine plus 2 cos. So I can take that sine x plus 2 cos x as common, and then it will be 1 1 1 in this first column. Cos here, sine here, cos here, cos cos, sine here. We can make 2 zeros. We can make 2 zeros by keeping first row as it is and subtracting row 2 and row 3 from row 1. It will be 0 here, sine minus cos, 0, 0, 0 and sine minus cos, and that is equal to 0. We are given that to be equal to 0. Now we can expand it in first column, so it will be sine minus cos whole square, nothing else. So sine plus 2 cos into sine minus cos square is equal to 0. So from this you can see there are two possibilities. Either sine plus 2 cos will be 0. In that case, tan x will become equal to minus 2 if this is 0. But if the other thing is 0, then tan x will be equal to 1. Sine is equal to cos, tan x will be equal to 1. My range for x is given as minus pi by 4 to pi by 4. And in this range, the value of tan x is only from minus 1 to 1 for this given range of x. So this minus 2 is not possible for this range. So only one solution will be there corresponding to tan x is equal to 1 when x is equal to pi by 4. So number of distinct real solutions will be A answer for this question. Coming to question number 8, here we are given f A to B and G B to C such that GOF inverse exists. Now please see, GOF inverse exists only if GOF is bijective. GOF is 1 1. GOF is 1 1 and onto. Okay. Now if GOF is onto, sorry, GOF is 1 1 first, that means my f has to be 1 1. That's a property of composite functions, that if GOF is 1 1, that means f has to be 1 1. Similarly, for GOF to be onto, your G has to be onto. G has to be onto. So from this, your answer has to be C for this question. In other, I think 1 1, both onto, f onto, yeah, that is not correct. Only C answer is correct. Only C option is correct. Now coming to question number 9, we are given two samples. First sample is having 100 entries, 100 items with mean to be equal to 15 and standard deviation is 3, but I am writing variance to be 9. These are the number of entries, this is mean and that is variance. Okay. Now then second group, that whole group is of 250. So second group will be of 150 whose mean variance are not known, but the combined thing which is 250, okay, their mean is given to be equal to 15.6 and their variance is given to be 13.44. Okay, and they're asking the standard deviation of the second sample. So we will be getting first variance of the second entry and then we will take under root. Okay, so that is the question here. Now first of all, what I am going to do, this mean I will find, because the mean of this combined data is 15.6. So we can use very simple relation that 100 into 15, that is 1500, plus 150 into x bar, and that is equal to 250 into 15.6. So from this we can find the value of x bar. Okay, so this 150, maybe I can divide by 150 both sides. So this will be just 10 here plus x bar, and that is equal to I think I can divide by 50 here, so 5, and divide by 3 here, so 3.2 here, that is 16. 16. So x will be equal to, maybe I have done some mistake, 5 into, it is 5.2, not 3.2, it is 5.2. What I have done, I have divided by 150 both sides. I will be dividing this by 50, so it is 5. I will divide this by 3, so it will be 5.2, so it will be 27. It will be 26. Sorry, 26. The value of x bar is becoming equal to 16. Okay, so this x bar is coming out to be 16, and we have to find the standard deviation here, sigma, or maybe I'll first find sigma square, then standard deviation. Now what I'm going to do next is that to find standard deviation or variance, we need to find sum of squares of data also. Okay, we are known the sum of entries like 1500 here and 16 into 15, 150 here, so that we know, but we do not know the sum of squares of the entries. Now to find that, what I will do, I'll use a property which says that if you decrease the entire data set by a fixed number, variance doesn't change. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll be changing the entire data set such that they all are subtracted by the mean of second group, which is 16. So my new mean here, let me use different color pen here. So I will subtract 16 here. So my new mean will be -1 here, 0 here, okay, and -0.4 here. Please see, I am subtracting entire data by 16. By doing this, this variance will not change, this variance will not change, this variance will not change. Okay, now what will be the benefit of it? Please understand, because this becomes 0, then finding the sigma square will be easier. Now please see what is next. That, yeah, so this 9, the variance as 9 which we found here will be equal to summation of xi square upon 100, that is the mean of squares of first data set minus the square of mean, that is square of -1. That is one thing. Similarly, similarly 13.44 will be equal to summation of yi square upon 250. That is actually the mean of squares of the entire data, including this also, that is for 250 data, minus the square of mean, which is 0.16 here. Okay, now if I have to find the sum of squares of the data set of this 150, I think I will subtract sigma yi square from sigma xi square. That will give me the desired data set, or let me write it as sigma zi square, which will be equal to sigma yi square minus sigma xi square. Now you can see sigma, this square will be equal to, this 0.16 will go there, that side, so it is 13.6 into 250 minus, this is just 10 into that 100, so 1000. Okay, now we are looking for the sigma square. Now in this case, sigma square will be equal to sigma zi square upon 150, and that's it, because mean is 0, so I don't need to subtract it here, and the value here would be, you just divide 150 here and here also. Okay, maybe I think first I should take 250 common to make the calculation a bit easier for sigma zi square. So 250 if I take common, it will be 13.6 minus 4 divided by 150. Yeah, so this will be equal to 13.6 minus 4 is how much? 9.6. So let us divide this by 55 times and this by 53 times. Okay, so 3 will divide 9.6, 3.2 times. This is actually 5 into 9.6 upon 3. 3.2 into 5, that is 16. Okay, so variance is also 16. This was also 16, variance is also 16, but we are looking for standard deviation, which will be under root of this thing. So answer for this question should become equal to C, that is 4. Yeah. Coming to the next question, question number 10. Here we are given ABC distinct positive numbers and these vectors are coplanar. So simple question of determinant now. you just need to make this determinant, which is A, and C, and second will be 1, 0, 1, and then C, and B, that to be equal to 0. Okay, I think these two elements are same, A, here C. So I can subtract third row. Let me first write first two rows as it is. Okay, now I will make these two zeros with the help of writing R3, change to R3 minus, I think, A upon C times R1. I think ulta, C upon A R1. So A will get cancelled, C you will get there, so 0, 0, and here it will be B minus C square upon A, that is equal to 0. So from this, if you open it, you get BA minus C square to be equal to 0, which gives you C to be equal to A, that is root AB. Okay, now coming to the next question, number 11. If the length of latest sector of an ellipse is 4 unit and distance between a focus and the nearest vertex on major axis 3/2 unit, then eccentricity. Okay, so you know latest sector length is 2b square upon A, which is equal to 4 here. And distance between the focus and the nearest vertex, this is A minus AE. So we are given A minus AE to be equal to 3/2. From here, you can write B square as A square into 1 minus E square upon A equal to 4. 1A will get cancelled, and this is A into 1 minus E to be equal to 3/2. If you take the ratio, I think here we will be having 2 into 1 plus E is equal to 8 upon 3. 2 will cancel it 4/3 times. The value of E will be equal to 1 upon 3. So answer for this is B. Okay. So moving to the next question, that is question number 12. Sum of all those terms which are rational. Here, if I write general term, that is TR plus 1, it is 12 CR into 2 power 1 upon 3, 12 minus R, and 3 power 1 upon 4 power R. Now, to get the rational term, I need to have R by 3 and R by 4 both to be integer. But you can see they can be integer only if R is equal to 0 or R is equal to 12, because my maximum power or maximum value of R, that can be 12, minimum is 0. So R can be either 0 or 12. So first term, when I put R is equal to 0, that will be 12C0 into 2 raised to the power, I think 12 upon 3, so it will be 4. And if you put R is equal to 12, that will give you the last term. So that will be, I think, 12C12. And in this case, it will be 3 power 3 here. They both are 1, 1. So it becomes 16 plus 27, that is 43. So answer for this question is 43, that is D. Yeah, D. In this question, we are given that system of linear equation is non-trivial solution. Non-trivial solution means non-zero solutions, infinite solutions, which happens only if for homogeneous system of equations you have a determinant equal to 0. So the determinant here has to be something like 4 lambda 2 2 minus 1 1 mu 2 3, and that is equal to 0. This last column and this first column, if you use property, I think we can make these two terms to be 0 0 after multiplying third column by 2 and subtracting column 1 from that. So 4 minus 4, 2 minus 2, 0, and here it will be mu minus 6, and other things will remain same like this. Okay, so here what we are getting, if I expand along third column, so it is mu minus 6 and this minus 3, sorry, lambda actually, not this. So that will be lambda plus 2. Lambda plus 2 equal to 0. So you can see either lambda mu should be 6 or lambda should be equal to minus 2. If we look at the options, lambda is equal to 3, mu any real number will not do. So I think mu equal to 6 and lambda can be any real number will do. If you keep mu to be 6 and lambda can be anything, then also it will be equal to 0. No other options are, giving you this to be equal to 0 for all possibilities mentioned in the options. So answer for this question is D. We are given this question, S1 is the sum of two n terms of AP. See, whenever you have to take the sum of n terms of an AP, take it in terms of an plus bn square. It's a quadratic with no constant term there. Now S1 is 2n terms. So S1 will be put 2n in place of n. So it will be 2an plus 4bn square. Similarly, S2 is the sum of 4n terms. So you will write 4an plus 16bn square. Okay. Now S2 minus S3 is 1000. So if we take difference, it is 1000 here, and that is equal to 2an plus 12bn square. Now they are asking sum of 6n terms. 6n terms means 6n, let us write it here. So it will be 6an plus 36bn square. bn square. I have replaced n by 6n. Now you can see this thing here is just 3 times of this thing. You take 3 common, it will be 2an plus 12bn square. So 3 into 1000. So answer should be 3000 for this question. So answer is A. Okay. This always makes things simple. Please remember. Now in this question, we are given f r to r as a continuous. We have to find the value of a and b. Now please see the limit here at x is equal to 0 will be just a plus 1 plus 2 upon 2. That is a plus 3 upon 2. Okay. And the value is b. And the limit, if you find it here, I think root x term will get cancelled. X is already positive, so we can do that. Inside this under root, we will be having 1 plus bx square minus 1 upon bx power 2. Now do the rationalization. It will be bx square here after rationalization. And in the denominator, it will be bx square into under root of 1 plus bx square plus 1. Okay, this will get cancelled. So as x approaches to 0, the limit here would be 1 upon 2. Okay, so you can see if this function is to be continuous, we need to have a plus 3 by 2 to be equal to b, and this is to be equal to half. So a is equal to, I think, minus 3. Yeah, no, not minus 3, 1 minus 3. So minus 2 actually, minus 2, and b to be equal to half. And they are asking a plus b, so it will be minus 3 by 2. So C should be the answer of this question. Here we are given a function f, it is increasing. So for increasing, decreasing, we'll just do the differentiation. So we'll get f dash to be equal to, here it will be minus 4x square plus 4x plus 3. This is for x greater than 0. For x less than 0, it will be 3e power x common x plus 1. X less than 0. I'm not writing for x is equal to 0. I don't know whether it is differentiable or not, but for x less than 0 and for x greater than 0, we can definitely do this kind of differentiation. Now please see, for x greater than 0, this is a downward parabola. Okay, in fact, its roots can also be found, I think, minus 12, so plus 6 minus 2, plus 6 minus 2, so if one factor will be 2x minus 3, and other would be taking minus sign outside, it will be 2x plus 1 here. Okay, so you can see its roots are minus half and 3 by 2. So this quadratic or this function for x greater than 0 will be increasing for this portion above this line. In fact, this f dash for this portion of the function starts validating from the 0. If it is 0 here, so it will be starting from here. So from 0 to, this 3 by 2 function will be, increasing for sure. Now let us talk about this also. Just before 0, you can see it is positive. Okay, it will be negative before x is equal to minus 1 only. So maybe minus 1 is here. Before that, it will be negative. So maybe this, I am drawing the graph for the f dash, not f. It will be something like this. At 0 actually, the value here was 3. Okay, at 0, the value is here also 3. So maybe the graph will be something like this. So you can see the graph of their derivative are such that their positive derivative is positive from minus 1 to 3 by 2. So between minus 1 to 3 by 2, I think this function will be increasing. In fact, this function is continuous also, and the values are such that it is differentiable also. So there is no problem of that kind also. So function is strictly increasing in this minus 1 to 3 by 2 open bracket. So answer is A. C is the center of the circle, okay, and P is a point. So here we are given a circle, something like this, whose center is C, okay, and there is a point P somewhere here maybe, okay, and then there is the line passing through C, which makes angle 45 degree with this CP, and this is called AB. A line passes through C, makes an angle 45 degree with line CP and intersects the circle at Q and R, not AB, Q and R. Q here, R here. And we have to find the area of this triangle PQR. Okay. Now please see how this question can be done. First of all, if we find the radius, it comes out to be 2. So it will be 2 plus 2, 4. And because QCR is diameter, this angle will be 90 degree. Now to find the area of this triangle, what I can do, I can find PQ and PR. And then half base into height will give you the area. How? Please see, if this angle is 45 degree, this angle will be 22.5 degree from the property of circle. So if this hypotenuse is 4, the base PR will be equal to 4 cos 22.5. And similarly, this PQ will be 4 sine 22.5. So the area of the triangle will be equal to 1 by 2 into product of this thing, that is 16 into sine 22.5 into cos 22.5. Okay, this 2 divides 16 8 times. I'll keep 4 and give 2 to this sine cos, which makes it formula of sine 2 theta. So 4 into sine 45 degree, which makes it 2 root 2 as the answer, which is given in the option number B. Okay, simple question 17. Coming to question number 18, the value of definite integral. Very standard problem, I think NCERT based. See, the sum of the limits is, I think, pi by 4, 6, pi by 24, pi by 4. And here it is given as 10 2x. So we can use the property known as King's rule maybe. So pi upon 24 to 5 pi upon 24. Here it will be dx upon 1 plus under root of 10 of 2. In place of x, we replace by a plus b, that is pi by 4 minus x. If you do this 10 will become cot 2x cube root. Okay, if I write cot as 1 upon 10, you can see it will become cube root of 10 of 2x plus 1, and this cube root of 10 2x will come in the numerator also. Now these two things if you add, you get 2i, and it is nothing but 1 here dx. Limits are from pi by 24 to 5 pi by 24. So this will be 4 pi upon 24, that is pi upon 6. So I will be equal to pi upon 12. So answer for this question is D. Yeah. Okay. Moving to the next question, number 19. Sn is the sum of first n terms of AP. I think one more question on AP. And we are given S3n is equal to 3 times S2n. Once again, I'll use the same result. Suppose Sn is an plus bn square. Then S3n would be 3an plus 9bn square. Whereas S2n would be 2an plus 4bn square. So here 3 into 2 6. If you bring 3an to this side, you will get 3an plus this is 12 minus 9, that is 3bn square, and that will be equal to 0. So that is the relation we have got. Now they are asking S4n, this thing. S4n, I think we can use this result once again. So it will be 4an plus 16bn square upon, for S2n it will be 2an plus 4bn square. Now here I think you can cancel 3 with 3 also. An plus bn square is equal to 0. So an is actually minus bn square. An is actually minus bn square. So if I put it here, so minus 4bn square, so it will be 12bn square here upon 2bn square here. This gives you 6 as the answer of this question number 19. Okay, coming to the next question number 20. Here we are given B is written as sum of vector B1 and B2, where B1 is parallel to A and B2 is perpendicular to A. So what we can do, we can take B is equal to lambda A plus B2. Here lambda A is actually A is equal to B1 because B1 is parallel to A, so I can take like this. Okay, now because B2 is perpendicular to A, so if I take dot product of A on both sides, so A dot B will be equal to lambda into mod A square plus 0, because B2 is perpendicular to A. Now A dot B is what? Because A is I plus J and this is 3J plus 4K, so taking dot will give you just 3 here. Okay, and mod A square is 2 actually. So the value of lambda is equal to 3 by 2. Okay, now they are asking B1 cross B2. B1 cross B2. So what is B1? B1 is nothing but 3 by 2 A cross B2. Now what is B2? B2 is B minus lambda A, that is 3 by 2 A. Okay, if I take the cross of A with A, I think it becomes 0. So we are having here 3 by 2 into A cross B. A cross B means first row ijk and second row will be A, that is 1, 1, 0. Third row will be B, which is 0, 3, 4. Do this calculation, you get the answer 3 by 2. For I cap, it will be 4 I cap. For J, it will be 4. So minus 4J. And for K, it will be 3K. Okay, now multiply by 3 by 2. So this becomes 6, this becomes minus 6, this becomes 9 by 2. So 6 minus 6 and 9 by 2 is given in option number A. So answer for this question is A. Okay, I think C option is just negative of it, but I think answer has to be A only. Coming to the next question, number 21, I think first integer answer. The remainder on dividing this 1 plus 3 up to 3 power 2021 by 50 is okay. I think this is just a GP whose number of terms are 2022. It will be first term 1 R power n, that is 2022 minus 1 upon 3 minus 1. Sum of 2022 terms of a GP. And we have to divide it by 50. Now what I'll do it here is I will write 3 as 9 power 3 square as 9. So it will be 9 power 1011 minus 1 upon 2. Okay. Now 9 we can write it as 10 minus 1 power 1011 minus 1 upon 2. I use the binomial theorem. Okay. Now all the terms of this 10 minus 1 power 1011 up to second last will be multiple of 100. Will be multiple of 100, isn't it? 100 into some integer. I am talking about all the terms up to second last or maybe third last actually. Second last would be with plus sign 1011 C 1010 into 10 and the last term would be minus 1. Maybe you can write 1011 C 1011 also, but that is equal to 1 minus 1 and divided by 2. Okay, this is the last term of this binomial expansion. This is the second last term of this binomial expansion, and this is the sum of all the terms before that. And there you will be having at least 2 power on 10. That's why I have written it as 100 into integer. Okay, now if you divide by 2, you will be getting 50 into integer. Okay, and this 2 if you divide it here, and this is 1011 into 5 and minus 1 here. Okay, this is already divisible by 50, and here if you try to divide by 50, I think 1010 into 5 is divisible by 5, so the remainder would be just 5 minus 1, that is 4. You just split it as 1010 plus 1 into 5. 1010 into 5 is divisible by 50, so 1 into 5 is remaining, minus 1 is also remaining, so remainder here would be 4. Okay, 4. Okay, moving to the next question, number 22. Here we are given P and Q be vertices of a rhombus. P R Q S. Remember, listen or read it carefully that it is not PQRS. I also made this mistake when I saw this question for the first time. So it is P R Q S. Okay, P is minus 2, minus 1, 1, and Q is 56 by 17, 43 by 17, and 111 upon 17. Okay, and direction ratios of the diagonal RS. Okay, for RS, direction ratios are given to be alpha minus 1 beta. Then we have to find the value of alpha square plus beta square, where alpha beta are integer of minimum absolute value. Okay, now please see this diagonal PQ is perpendicular to diagonal RS, and the direction ratio of PQ you can find by taking the difference. Ratios of PQ would be, for PQ it would be 56, actually not 59, it is 56 here. 56 upon 17 minus plus 2, then 43 upon 17 minus plus 1, 111 upon 17 minus 1. So that will be the direction ratios. It becomes 34 plus 56 is how much? 90, I think. Yeah, and that will be 60, and that will be 94. I have removed 17 because it is there in all the terms. Yeah, 90. Yeah, correct. Now the dot product of PS with this will be 90 into alpha minus 60 plus 94 beta is equal to 0. So from here we will be getting 90 alpha plus 94 beta is equal to 60. Maybe I can divide by 2 also. So that will become 45 alpha plus 47 beta is equal to 30. Now listen carefully. Now these two things are multiple of 15. So my beta has to be at least 15 or minus 15, at least multiple of 15, isn't it? Okay. So what I am doing, I will be, or rather 15 into, yeah, only 15, yeah, 15. So this will be 3 alpha after dividing by 15 plus 47 into beta upon 15 is equal to 2. Okay, we want absolute minimum values of alpha square and beta square. So my first choice for beta should be 15 or minus 15. Then only it will have absolute minimum value. Now, if I take beta is equal to 15, okay, so that will become 47 here only. 47 will go that side. So it will be minus 45. So alpha will also be minus 15. Minus 15. Okay, beta cannot have absolute value lesser than 15. Yeah, it can have 0 also, but if you take this to be 0, then alpha will not be integer. So for this alpha and beta both to be integer, the minimum absolute value of beta has to be 15. Putting 15 here, we get 3 alpha to be equal to minus 45, so alpha will be equal to minus 15. So these are the absolute minimum values. So alpha square plus beta square will be equal to 225 into 2, that is 450. Answer for this question should be equal to minus 450. Both alpha and beta are integers of minimum absolute value. Yeah. Moving to the next question, 23. Here we are given area enclosed by the lines. Okay. So x plus y is equal to 2 is this line. This is 2 comma 0. This is 0 comma 2. And this is y equal to 0. This is x is equal to 0 and the curve. And that is important. We have to compare two things, x square plus 3 by 4 and 1 plus GIFX. Now let us draw first GIFX. Okay, using this color. So when x is from 0 to 1, okay, this 1 plus GIFX will take value equal to 1. In fact, this will just meet this line here, which is 1 comma 1 point. And after 1, it will be 2 and like this. Whereas x square plus 3 by 4 is upward parabola, value at 0 will be 3 by 4 and value at 1 will be, or rather I will take one thing, at x is equal to 1 by 2 you can check its value is 1, okay, and 1 by 2 is here, 1 by 2, this is 1 for this function also and this function also, so this will be intersecting this graph here, something like this. Okay, now we are looking for minimum of these two, so let me use more colors, white color, almost white. This one. Okay, so you can see the minimum is given by, let's use this color only. Yeah, so minimum is given by from this to this quadratic, and then this GIF function, and also enclosed by x plus y is equal to 2, y is equal to 0, and x is equal to 0. So this is the area we are looking for. Here you can see this graph is almost merging into this line, although this 1 comma 1 is not the point of intersection, but in the limiting case this graph is almost merging into this line, so we can consider this to be the area which we have to find, because otherwise there is no area that is bounded by these boundaries mentioned in the question. Okay, now how to do this question? I think 0 to half, it is the area bounded between this parabola with x-axis, and after that I think it is just the trapezium. Okay, so from 0 to half it will be x square plus 3 by 4 dx, and after that this one, and the area of the trapezium will be 1 upon 2 into sum of the parallel side, that is half, and 3 by 2, that is 2, into distance between two parallel sides, that is 1. Now the integration here would be x cube upon 3 plus 3x upon 4, and limits will be from 0 to half, and that is 1 here. If we put 1 by 2 here, it becomes 1 upon 24 plus 3 upon 8 plus 1. Multiply by 3 here, so 9 plus 1, 10 upon 24 plus 1. And we are looking for 12a, so multiply by 12 here, so this will be 5 plus 12, that is 17. 5 here plus 12 here, so it will be 17. So answer for this question is 17. 24th question is this. We are given m and n be the number of real roots of the equation this and this respectively, where this denotes GIF less than or equal to x, m square plus mn plus n square we have to find. For first one, I will write it as x minus 6 whole square is equal to 5 minus GIF x. Okay, now we will make two graphs and then it will give you how many number of roots are there. For x minus 6, it will be x minus 6 whole square. It will be upward parabola touching x-axis at x is equal to 6. Now for this you can see, let us use this color, this color here. For x between 5 to 6, you can see this value of GIF would be, I think 5 minus 5 0, but at 6 it will not be this, at 6 it will be minus 1. Okay, so the graph of this GIF is like this, from 5 to 6, and at 5 the value of this quadratic is 1, and at just before 5 also this is 1, but it is open bracket here something like this, and before that up to 4 it will be 1 here. Okay, at 4 the value here is 4, but just before 4 its value will be 2, something like this. Now you can see now gap will increase between these two graphs, so you cannot find any solution here, and after 6 you can see the graph of GIF would be negative, which cannot cancel any, which cannot intersect the graph of this quadratic anywhere. So you can see even these points at 5 and 6 they are not point of intersection, because at 6 quadratic gives you value 0, at 6 this gives you minus 1. Similarly at 5 quadratic gives you 1, at 5 it gives you 0. Okay, by this point just before 5 this will give you 1, but just before 5 doesn't mean they are intersecting, so there is no intersection point here, so the value of m will be equal to 0. Now similar to this we can do it for second graph, that is x square minus 4 is equal to 5 times mod of x plus 2. You can see x square minus 4 is a quadratic which intersect x-axis at minus 2 and 2 like this. Now this is mod of x plus 2 with multiplication of 5, so it will have value 0 at minus 2. On the positive side of minus 2 it will be a straight line with slope 5, and before that again it will be a straight line with slope minus 5. So it will intersect this parabolic graph once at this point, and similarly here also, because it's a concave upward parabolic graph and that's a straight line, so these two are bound to cut somewhere here, so 1, 2 and 3 points will be there for intersection, so n will be equal to 3. So m is 0, n is 3, so answer for this will be 9. Okay, so yeah, 9. Moving to the next question, that is question number 25. We are given that image of point P in the line L is Q. R is a point that divides internally the segment PQ in the ratio this. Okay, so we are given line L. P point is 1, 2, 3. Image of P is Q, and R divides internally PQ in the ratio 1:3. See, if P has image as Q, that means this point, let us say M, is the midpoint of PQ. So the point that divides PQ in the ratio 1:3 will be here, such that R is midpoint of PM, because suppose this is D, this will be D and this will be 2D. Then only the ratio of R dividing PQ will be in 1:3, which is given in the question. So R is actually midpoint of PM, and M is a point lying on the line L, whom I can take as 3 lambda plus 6, 2 lambda plus 1 and 3 lambda plus 2. Okay, and this point we can find with the help of the concept that because it's an image, PM will be perpendicular to the line L. Now we have to take the direction ratios of PM first. So direction ratio of PM will be 3 lambda plus 5, 2 lambda minus 1 and 3 lambda minus 1. Okay, and that will be perpendicular to the given line. So doing the dot product here will give you 9 lambda plus 15 plus 4 lambda minus 2, 9 lambda minus 3 is equal to 0. So 9 plus 4 plus 9, it is 22 lambda, 15 minus 2 minus 3, so plus 10 here is equal to 0, gives you lambda is equal to minus 5 upon 11. Minus 5 upon 11. Okay, now they are asking alpha plus beta gamma, alpha plus beta plus gamma, and R is alpha plus beta, alpha comma beta comma gamma. Now using midpoint formula we get 2 alpha to be equal to this plus this, that is 3 lambda plus 7 2 beta to be equal to 2 lambda plus 3, and similarly 2 gamma will be equal to 3 lambda plus 5. Now we are looking for 22 times this, means 11 times the sum of this thing. 11 times of 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3, 8 lambda. Yeah, 7 plus 3 plus 5 is 15. Okay, so lambda is minus 5 upon 11. Minus 5 upon 11, if I put it here, 11 will get cancelled. So minus 40 here, plus 11 into 15, that is 165. So this will be 125. So answer for this question has to be 125. I think that was the last question. Yeah, 125. So this completes the solutioning of this paper. I hope you will like the solutions of this question paper. So thank you so much, all of you. Bye. Take care.